how did this little kid? That's why two's stupid, to be honest with you. How did this little kid seek out this box, learn about all this lore? How did he have the MO to seek this out and become a Cenobite?
He was like my buddy who was jacking off dogs, fucking his sister in the back of a pickup truck.
But even then, yeah. So that's all it takes to be a Cenobite, is to be a deviant.
You know what I realized today? Fucking, I might have pressured him into jacking off the dog. I might have, because I remember saying, like, it'd be funny, and I knew he would do it because he's fucking crazy. I knew it'd be funny if you jacked off the dog until the dog came, and I said it just like that. I was saying it wrong on purpose back then. Even I might have pressured him into doing that because I was older than him.
Oh, it's funny how you omitted this information, and you were the older one.
I didn't even think about it until I was listening to I was re-listening to the stream.
So you pressured him. So you're telling me, like, when he was doing it, was he all like, "Nothing's really happening"? You're like, "No,
yeah." He was just like,
going.
He was just like, "I don't think it's gonna happen, man." I was just like, "No." At some point, I was just like, "Yeah, I don't think it is either." Like, but I could have been saying that.
I think Zach's family needs to take into consideration if at the end of his days comes to chisel that on his tombstone. I may have pressured him into jerking off that dog.
Exactly.
Revival House Network.
And don't like the brags, I don't like the boast. They like hot butter on the breakfast toast. Watching flicks, talking chicks, I like the motorboat. Can Riverman make it yo a check? Nope. So look at all these movies I got. Commenting like, should we watch them or not? I know they just be acting for cash, but I still got one question to ask. Like, why'd he do that? Do that? Do that? If that was me, I'd be like, screw that, screw that, screw that. I'm an alpha, I'd eat through that, through that, through that. So why'd he do that? Do that, do that.
All right, how you doing, everybody? Revival House. We got Zach, myself here. We're doing a commentary. It's been a minute. Zach, how you doing?
We're doing Hellraiser. Time to raise some heck. Fucking, it is October time. Time to get all spooky and shit.
Not to confuse people, we're doing Hellraiser, the Hulu one, the new one that everyone's talking about. You know, I don't know if we're just gonna wait. I watched it last night. Zach watched it today, so we've seen it. We're already predisposed to it, and we have our opinions on it. So I haven't heard anything about it. We haven't talked about it. I don't know what Zach thinks of it. I've got my opinions, but we're gonna go and watch it. Of course, obviously it's on Hulu, so you're gonna need a membership to that to follow along. Unless you're one of our patrons, Zach is streaming it for you. Naughty. So, and you guys can support us on Patreon in the links below, $2 a month. And of course, anything.
Or you can watch that shit for free, like you're doing right now.
Or just ask Mac, the Fire Stick. Yeah, just get a Fire Stick, bro. Just get a Fire Stick. As if that's all you need to do. You go to the grocery store, you buy a Fire Stick, and it's like, hey, you got all these free movies. That's just how it is.
Exactly. You don't have to jailbreak it or nothing. Fucking, it just comes like that.
So we're going to go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, play.
Fucking, why is this movie 2 hours long?
It's too long. It is too long.
I wanted that to be the first thing that happens whenever you go to the DVD on the fucking BTM Presents fucking Hellraiser version documentary. You press play. The first thing, why the fuck is this movie 2 hours long? And it's so true. It's so true. Why they do that? I don't understand it.
It's way too long, and I mean,
it should have been a TV series. Fucking, it's gonna be a TV series. Fucking, you should have just. Why not? Fucking keep it 2 hours long. Just make it a TV series. Make it all 30-minute episodes. Fucking Ash vs. Evil Dead, 30 minutes. Great show.
No, so my first opinion is, it's obviously not the worst movie in the franchise, but that's not exactly giving it praise.
Worse than like, what was the one? What was the one that we did?
Look, Deader, this movie is easily better than Deader, Hellworld, and the last two Great Value Pinheads. Like, but that's the last 4. But you know what? I would that also means I would take 2, 3, and 4, and 5 probably over this one. So it's not exactly saying nice things about it. It's just they set such a low bar.
Fucking I think they're never gonna outdo the first Hellraiser. What's the point of even trying anymore? Like, we see it now. It's never been more fucking obvious.
And they
But it's
kept
like,
they were selling this one in the marketing as like, yeah, we're going back to the novella and doing our own thing, but we're gonna pull from that novella. I'm like, first of all, the original movie is pretty damn close, minus very minor changes. It's pretty damn faithful to the novella, and this is nothing like the novella. That was market speak for, hey, it's another random sequel with random characters, and it just feels like a VOD sequel to me. It's a little too polished looking. It looks weird. It looks cheap. The digitalness of it really comes through. And it's not that I absolutely hate the way the Cenobites look, I guess, on paper, the designs, but they just look weird and glossy. It almost looks like, they did them up and they all have like a layer of CGI over them. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Fucking maybe. For some reason, it seems like the Cenobites always kind of have like some weird CG. For some reason, why is that a thing? Why do they fucking make people up and then like, yeah, you're in costume shit, and then why touch it at all with CGI? Why do they ever do that? Like,
In the original Hellraiser, they were all makeup and effects. There was no like.
I mean, in movies nowadays, like when they
Mhm.
make them, why is that a thing at all?
They want them to look otherworldly and ethereal. They don't want them to have like blemishes on their face.
Ridiculous. Fucking this movie, it's fucking at the best I would give it a 6. The worst I would give it a 5, probably. I'm not gonna remember this in fucking 2 years.
That's 100% how I felt about it. Like I said, it's better than the last 4, but dude, a fucking chimpanzee can make a movie better than the last 4. And I gave it a 5. And yeah, if I wanted to be kind, I guess I could say a 6, but there's things about it that I don't know, drive me crazy. Like I said, all the market speak, nobody was going to fall for that. First of all, you had all the shill websites coming out a couple weeks ago with early reviews, and they were praising it. You don't ever fall for that, because then when the movie dropped, you look at the audience reviews, and they're all pretty much, that was a thing. It's Hellraiser, right?
Haven't we already? Why is this still something we have to explain to people? Haven't everybody understood this by now? Like fucking, they always do this shit. Fucking, we don't really know anything about the movie until it really happens, until it's really out. Like you don't trust reviews. Ever.
Don't trust it. It's totally stupid. And I guess my biggest gripe with this movie, I mean, we're obviously going to watch it, so we'll be able to tell you as we go, but I don't like the fact that there's no clear antagonist in this. I get it. There's bootleg Uncle Frank, which is this guy, I guess, but he's not really anything. He's kind of part of the twist. He'll show up at the end, and he's running this scheme with that one boyfriend or whatever to he doesn't count. But they tried to make the Cenobites more pursuant in this. They're almost like a monster movie where they're constantly on the tails and they're picking off people like Freddy Krueger, because in this one they changed the lore. Like now, like the box needs blood, like all these victims for them to. It's like, what is going on here?
Fucking the original, basically. One thing I did like about this is like fucking they show the box changing shapes. Like it could become a dildo. You could sit on that shit. Look at that. That's fucking. That'll get you to come real quick. I mean, and it makes sense.
They insinuated as that in the original. I just don't. But this one they have CGI and stuff. It was the square.
The one thing I always hated about the other movies, fucking, it's supposed to be a puzzle box. Everybody seems to solve it really fucking easily. You rub the fucking circle thing, and then it comes, and then it's like that's not a puzzle. Like,
and yeah, why is that your first any wish to like rub around the? But why? Yeah, I always wonder. They always rub their finger around that line. Like, who would do that? Like the first thing you do.
I like that
it's
they fucking.
Really
it's all the add lore to it. Like fucking. Oh yeah, there's different stages of it. Fucking. You solve the first stage and like fucking whatever. But it's like fucking yeah. They kind of changed fucking like now. It needs, like before it was always like fucking, oh, you can't feel bad for the person that opened up the box, because it's like, oh, they knew what they were getting into. They were seeking out the pleasure and all this fucking crazy shit that it has to offer. Nobody could like accidentally fall into that. But now it's like fucking this weird thing where it's like fucking it has to also take other people whenever somebody opens it. Fucking it has to take your friends.
Yeah, it makes no sense, because I much prefer they tried to add all the shit to the lore. In the original, right? They established it at least even in the second one, right? Where the doctor, the guy who was obsessed with the box and everything to get the autistic girl or whatever to open it for him behind the glass. And they even said, Pinhead's like, it is not hands that call us, it is desire. And they went for the doctor. So this one goes right out the window because anybody who opens the box, they come out and they want to like take the blood. And right, if somebody gets pricked with that little fucking diabetes needle that comes out of it, then it becomes Nightmare on Elm Street, and they pull them into a weird dream world, like their version of the Boiler Room and Freddy. But it's like
this movie,
and then they kill him, and then they also like killing him.
This does become a slasher movie at one point. Fucking it's like the remake of 13 Ghosts. They're in a house, and fucking the Cenobites are just unleashed. It reminded me of that movie.
So yeah, in my opinion, this is quite removed from the novella, but
I didn't. This is nothing like the fucking like when they said that. It's like, oh, they're just gonna remake it, but it's like I would have rather them just remake, because now it's this obvious. It's like fucking this story only works well. I think if they're gonna make this work again, they basically have to do like a From Dusk Till Dawn type of thing, where it's like fucking you go in expecting it's just like a bank heist movie, and then the fucking Cenobites just show up, like something like that. Like fucking, you just can't do this anymore. Fucking it was done perfectly. We can just talk about how much the original movie is kind of a perfect horror movie. Really, I kind of realized that while watching this.
It's hard to slight this movie for its biggest crime. It just makes you realize that no movie, no sequel, no remake is ever going to have the style that the first movie had. It did. So like they actually use the classic theme in this movie, which almost feels sacrilegious, and it feels out of place, right? I think you kind of hear it subtly woven into the score, but at the end, like you hear it prominently, and I'm like, it doesn't fit, because all I do is imagine the original movie and how gritty it looked and how that felt, and I'm seeing that music played in front of this weird digital, the color grading on it's kind of weird and shitty looking. I don't like it, and it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it meshed. They should have just did their own. He's built like a giant box house, right? I don't know. And I think that's how
we're seeing people fucking. They're fucking on camera. Oh, I'm so hard. Don't you just instantly get fucking hard when you see people having sex on camera on a film?
Dude, they cheaped out. They didn't have the dudes fucking, because there's like the boyfriends in here, and they're like,
oh, I was so fucking
like around each other.
I was so ready to come to some fucking. I wanted them all to just start fucking each other.
I was so ready for like him to demount her and her to get up and her be like a pre-op trans and have a big dick too, because this movie seems to be like really pushing all that stuff.
Fucking
so why don't you talk about how they're just they're doing the Evil Dead remake thing here?
And what's it pushing, Aaron? Fucking trans people exist. Of course, there's going to be trans people in movies. Quit being a fucking pussy. Quit being a little beta bitch.
It's like if you follow the official Hellraiser social medias, like whoever's running that, it's totally just become an LGBTQ web page now. It has nothing to do with the movie.
Why wouldn't it? Why that fucking Clive Barker is gay icon, motherfucker? Stop disrespecting. Stop disrespecting.
I get the undertones of the original Hellraiser, but still, it's removed itself way too much from the actual movie. Anyway,
fuck, you can't handle the greatness.
She's a pill popping drunk who obviously was able to solve the puzzle box. I don't know why she's worthy. You know, like literally, if she can do it, she's literally a fuck up. Anybody can open that box, as we've established in this universe.
Why would they make it hard to open, Aaron? They want you to fucking open that shit. They are not trying to hide. They are not trying to hide. They are ready.
This one's different. The rules have changed. It's like literally, if you open it, they're gonna come and they want bodies, and you'll get a gift. Like, give us 5 souls and blood, and we'll give you a present. And you get to choose one of like 7 things. It's like in Super Mario Brothers, right? You go in little Toad's house, you could choose which one you want. It's like you could choose pleasure, you could choose resurrection, you could choose. Yeah, I don't know.
Are they trying to? They're fucking with us and like fucking. Did they make them more sinister? Really? Because like, oh, the originals fucking. They didn't go after your family. These motherfuckers go after your family. Fucking. It's like the Trump thing. Like, we're gonna go after their families. Remember that? Hell yeah. Like that's this version.
The actual Cenobites themselves is not the big problem with the movie. It's not. It's, you know, the new Pinhead's kind of creepy. It's just everything else around is not working for me. And I don't know, man. Can we talk about these characters? They're pretty shit.
Forgettable.
They're
forgettable.
not great.
Aren't they
They're
all
very
forgettable?
boring. I hate this lead actress. Well, in the original movie, you could even argue that Kirsty's a boring character. There's nothing special about Kirsty at all, actually.
Kirsty's been
and
Stacy.
there's really nothing. Yeah, she was a Stacy, but there's really nothing I would accept that argument that there's not really special about Kirsty, and even that there's nothing really special about her dad, even though her dad plays a very important role. But it's all about Frank and
Fuck it, there shouldn't be anything
Julia.
special about the main character. We've got to identify them. We can't be elites. We can't all have fucking great lives. Fucking, there shouldn't be anything special. I am on the side.
You mentioned how the Cenobites are in this movie, as far as it becomes like a weird slasher and all this shit. I
didn't realize when I saw this earlier. That's the same guy from the beginning.
Yeah, that was fucking her.
I didn't notice. That's the same guy that like opened the box and it cut him, and he was like, "Fuck." He all bootleg Edward Cullen with the haircut. He's the same guy?
What guy? What at the beginning?
Or was it not?
No, that
Right.
was different. That was a little fuckboy prostitute that he brought to the house.
Chad.
Because he was hiring these sex. They even say it later, like after her friend goes missing, because that's what happens in this world. The Cenobites don't like tear your soul apart, Jesus wept, and make a big mess in your house, like right there. They just take them to Dream World, which I think is kind of fucking weak.
Take them to Flavor Town.
They take them to Flavor Town. It's absolute that I don't like. I get it. It props up their little story arc of the disappearing people. But
why are they pulling the punches? I want to see fucking them fucking them. They strap them, pull their skin open, and fucking strap them to a harness. Fuck them with strap-ons and shit. Fucking bring the pleasure. Let us see it. I want to see it. All the crazy fucking fucked up shit Clive Barker wanted us to see, but he couldn't back in the day. We got to see it.
They couldn't help themselves. It's still a franchise that Disney wants to make a little money off of, so they still had to make the Cenobites the monster at the end. They had to make them a mascot and a Freddy Krueger and turn to a slasher movie. But in the original movie, you're not going to touch it. I much preferred it when they were a little bit more biased and they had, or not unbiased, and they had some rules to follow to a degree. And they were more like angels, right? They were dark angels, and it was Frank. I love the simple story about a guy who escaped hell. What a cool premise, right?
I would rather just be watching the original movie right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, aren't you getting
that's what they should. That's what they should do. They should just fucking advertise the fuck out of a movie like, oh yeah, we're modernizing it for a new audience. Fucking, we're getting new actors. Fucking, we're adding, like, now it's a female Pinhead. Now all the little girls can fucking get into horror too. That's cool, right? Fucking all this shit, and then it comes out and it's just the original.
No,
we watch it like
first they got
us.
Then they have to cut their dicks. No, first they got to be little boys, then they got to cut their dicks off, and then they got us.
That's the ultimate rebellion. Fuck authority. Rebel in every way possible. I say. Fucking them pussy is the best.
The streaming wars here, they're getting so the streaming wars is getting so competitive that all this boils down to is Disney swooping in and buying. They're all trying to get a hold of all these IPs that have a recognizable name, and they're trying to market it as something special, but it's not, because this literally feels like it could have been a straight to VOD next, not picked up by Hulu. It just would have been the next Hellraiser movie. Like, I feel like they were going to make this movie no matter what, no matter who paid for it.
And exactly.
It's just yet another recasting of Pinhead.
Exactly.
It's not. They were going to keep doing that anyway. Even though I don't think the last guy was that bad. He didn't look that bad, at least.
Fucking Pinhead. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to fucking say it. Pinhead's always forgettable. Pinhead's always fucking forgettable. He's only memorable in the original movie because the only memorable movie is the original movie. Fucking everybody just acknowledge this. Acknowledge this. Fucking I read this interesting fact. Fucking this marks this movie marks all the golden age slasher movies from the 80s have now been remade. Fucking all of them. Fucking Leatherface, like all the classics. And I didn't notice that until I read that, and it was like, fucking wow. It's like a new world almost, in a way. What do you think?
Well, my internet's doing its thing again, so I didn't hear any of that stuff. It pretty much came back when you're like all the new. I'm thinking I have to switch over to my other net thing like I usually do when it fucks up. I'm gonna switch over to it. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna disappear for just a second, but you're gonna keep going. Then I'll just hop back in.
We can say anything we want about this motherfucker while he's gone. He'll never know. We'll never know. Fucking, I think motherfucker, he kills children. I think he's a child killer. Fucking, everybody's looking for this child killer right where he's from. It's a fucking coincidence, I think.
Hey, I have a question that has nothing to do with the movie. So if I'm the one that started the broadcast, which saves the video, and I disconnected my internet for a second to switch over to another one, did that just fuck up the broadcast?
I have no idea.
Because it still says like it's going.
Should be good. We should be good.
You think so?
We're seeing. Oh, this is now we're getting. I'm thinking of fucking. Remember that one movie where the kids show up to the guy the blind guy's house and they rob him, but he's like a combat vet and he's like fucking like she's got a girl in his basement and he saves cum and shit. Remember that? I'm thinking of that movie now.
Hell yeah. That blows me away. I'm so paranoid because, yeah, it looks like the broadcast is still going. I just would hate to sit through this shitty movie for another hour and a half and us not have the file.
You're ruining the commentary now because it says it's still going. Sorry. It says live and it's recording.
Okay.
And you're in the fucking thing twice for some reason.
Oh, because I opened up a new one. Hold on.
Fucking up the show over here. We're seeing them find the box though. Basically, they sneak into some place to steal it. Fucking this motherfucking kid, he's like, yo, I know that you're a recovering addict and all that shit, recovering and like fucking all that good shit, but like, let's go steal some shit. This rich guy left the box there. He didn't know it was the box, but he does. We find out later because he sets it all up. He said, look at this. Look at them shoving their gayness down our throats. They're shoving their gayness down our throats. Fucking that's just a translation for I'm offended, but I'm too much of a coward to admit it. Very low T. Very low T. The view of two men rubbing their cocks together kind of makes me excited sometimes.
Didn't you say there's nothing more manly technically?
There's nothing more manly than two men fucking each other. That's double the testosterone, all the fucking male hormones, so much sweat dripping all over. Fucking imagine if they have big burly chests that are all hairy. What's more manly than that? This is actually some decent acting in the movie. Fucking everything else seems fake, but this kind of seems like
I honestly feel there's a little too much setup here with all these characters. I feel like they could have tightened this up a little bit. They could have established that she's a pill popping drunk and he's a concerned gay brother. And she's seeing another guy that's pretty much bad news for a recovery. I'm like, it feels like this goes on for 45 fucking minutes. Maybe it doesn't, but it just goes on way too long.
We needed to know their motivation. Fucking, she's a recovering addict. He's helping her out. Fucking, you get to stay in my house. Do you remember? All that shit.
This is going to be a theme throughout this podcast where we reference the original movie. Do you remember how fast they did this in the original movie? We didn't know much. We literally start the fucking movie with them moving into the house, Julia and the dad, and she picks up like Frank's room is up there. Like, oh, we find out he'd been squatting there. Hey, and she finds the picture, and then she has like flashbacks. You can let me in. Bam, fucking done. It insinuates that they had a history. They don't have to dumb it down for us and just spoon feed us every little bit of shit.
Frank had massive Chad energy in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, everything was implied. And
it was like he wasn't even speaking his own voice.
Yeah.
Why did they decide to overdub his voice again?
Because he had a really thick French accent. He was a French guy. Which begs the question why he cast him. Like, is he really that perfect for it? I love it. I don't know. I feel like they should have went back and watched that movie. Did the director, David S. Goyer wrote this, by the way. That's the fucker that writes Batman and Batman v Superman and Justice League. Should we say any more? Right? I feel like he should have watched Hellraiser and got the pacing down, man. At least the setup. Hellraiser's kind of It's got a slow burn, like a good slow burn pace.
I think most people would say don't make the pacing like the first Hellraiser nowadays, probably.
But it sets up fast. It sets up really fast. Like maybe it takes its time working its way to the story in the end, but man, it takes no time pulling you in, right?
What's crazy is Hellraiser's technically shorter than this. Fucking well, I was gonna say, fucking Hellraiser seems like it goes by really quick. I never thought Hellraiser was a slow movie. I always thought Hellraiser 2 was slow. Like fucking when people said like, man, I hate Hell. Like I remember people used to love Hellraiser 2 and not like the first one because like fucking the first one's just too slow, and I was just like,
yeah,
what the
no,
fuck?
the first one's not.
The second Hellraiser movie to me is just like I think I've tried to watch that movie at least 5 times. I've only actually saw it all the way through. Like I always like just never finish it when I started that one for some reason.
So
it's so hard to get through.
It's not slow. I don't know the term to use because the original Hellraiser is only an hour and 34 minutes. It's tight,
slow to me.
But it's got a certain pacing to it. It's just a Bernie movie. It's just there's not a lot of explosions or crazy jump scares. It's very contained. I don't know, but
it's calm-inducing.
Yeah, it doesn't waste its time. I love it. This movie doesn't need to be 2 hours. Kind of like the other movie. Fun fact: we were going to do the monsters, the Rob Zombie monsters, and then Zach, put his authoritative dick down on the table, and he's like, "I'm not doing that shit. I've never wanted to watch this movie."
I did not. I was just like, man, I have no desire to watch that movie. I never watched the show.
And he tells me this the night after I waste 2 hours of my life watching that movie. So that movie's about almost 2 hours long too, and it's a kids movie.
I think what actually made you decide, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't do it. It's just like, man, I said something like, man, there's just some episodes I hear them and I'm just like, that's gonna be a shitty episode. And I think you just agreed with me. You were just like, yeah, probably.
Well, part of me thought, I think I was of two minds. I think one of my minds was saying, well, if that's the attitude Zach's going to have, it is going to suck. So maybe I should shift course now so he doesn't become that. Or I think maybe subconsciously I was also thinking, wow, I don't want to have to watch this again for 2 more hours. Again, maybe I didn't want to do it either. But
ironically, whenever we decided to do a fucking Hellraiser Resurrection, whatever it was, the one that had the fucking the Great Value Pinhead, the first time they recast.
Was it the first time or the second one we did? I can't remember.
The first time. Fucking when we did that one, I was like, this is gonna be a shitty episode. But it came out anyway, and it was a shitty episode. But this isn't as bad as that one, I don't think.
I give like the Monsters though, man. I gave that a 5 out of 10, just like I'd say I give this one, but I think the Monsters was less offensive. It's funny enough, it was actually better than better than every Rob Zombie movie since Devil's Rejects, I guess, because everything since Devil's Rejects, in my opinion, was so fucking bad. But
garbage take, fucking low T, fucking high incel opinion. Fucking everybody knows fucking his best movie was Lords of Salem. His last movie was Lords of Salem.
Dude, if you're new to Netflix, you don't even have to be a brand new movie. If you're a new property that just premiered on Netflix this month, you pretty much automatically make it into the top 10. That little top 10, like streaming today. The Monsters didn't even make the top 10, and it's a Netflix original. Like, they picked it up. It wasn't in the top 10. It wasn't even get advertised on the front page. I had to search Monsters to pull it up.
They're they're such a bad company.
I was blown away. I'm like, because anything makes the top 10. Look at it. They got like fucking Olympus Has Fallen in the top 10. Just some stupid fucking movie just because it's the new movie this week.
Do you think they would have paid the rights and like had it coincide with like, hey, we got the rights to the original series. Watch the month, like fucking go through all the classic. Oh, October, time for the Monsters. Fucking, of course they didn't do that. They're piece of shit. Never do business with these people.
When you see like a movie like Ghosts of Girlfriend's Past with Matthew McConaughey, rom-com from 25 years ago, makes the top 10 because it's new on Netflix this week, but the Monsters doesn't, it blows me away. So,
when I watched it for the first time, I fucking fell asleep by this point in the movie. I woke up half out of my haze and saw like, oh shit, she saw a Cenobite while in the park.
I didn't hate this. Like, I didn't hate how they first present themselves, and
it's somewhat creepy, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't hate the next time we see him in that bathroom. I thought it was getting set up to be pretty creepy, but they blew it when they started going the route of, oh, he just disappeared. Like, oh, what? They're not gonna fucking
Yeah, I remember
tear him
the
apart?
time. I remember when the Scarlet Gospels, the sequel Clive Barker wrote to Hellraiser. It had a great introduction to the Cenobites. Like fucking, it was just like a cop recalling when he was going after a criminal, and a fucking Cenobite just happened to show up and fuck up. Like, if I remember right, wasn't that right? And
Well,
the cop
yeah.
was like fucking what's his name from the
It's the guy from Lord of Illusions. He's
Yeah.
the detective, which is cool. He like crossed the stories over, which is kind of neat.
weird decision though.
Did you? I didn't finish that. I was listening to that audiobook a long time ago. Did you actually listen to that whole thing or read the whole thing?
I did.
Was it any good or was it forgettable?
It was fucking like if it was a movie and it was like fucking it was an actual sequel to the original and it was like fuck we're just gonna ignore all like if they did the Halloween 2019 treatment like fucking I would probably be like yeah that was like it was a 7 fucking I give it props but it would be one that was like fucking why is this like 3 hours long?
Were they trying to follow up the book and was he actually described as like the priest or were they like hey we're gonna go with the movie it's Pinhead?
Call him the Hell Priest.
They call him the Hell Priest? Okay.
That sounds metal as fuck.
Yeah. It does.
Chad.
Anyway.
Do they call him fucking Pinhead in this movie? I don't even remember.
They know it's the priestess.
The priest. Fucking, fucking, they should have got, what's his name, from Judas Priest to play fucking Pinhead. Just be like, we're going to take it away from the first transgender actor. Fucking, we know that was a big thing, but we're going to give it to Judas Priest instead. And I think everybody would be like, you know what? Usually I get mad because it's like you took it away from fucking the first trans Pinhead, but you know what? Fucking, I'm not mad.
You gave it to a gay metal. You gave it to a gay S&M bondage Leatherhead.
He used to wear all the leather. There's not even leather in this movie. They took that out.
He still does, and he was a big part of the cruising scene, like that he talks about all the time. Rob Halford. Yeah, dude, they look like they came out of a Philip K. Dick novel. They look sci-fi. They don't look. Yeah, the leather and stuff is all gone.
They're using their own skin as fucking the body mod.
They don't look grotesque. The whole thing's too glossy and clean, and it kind of looks like American Horror Story. Like I'm watching an FX series or something. I don't know. I don't know.
AHS vibes. AHS vibes.
What's it called to the okay, when I watched this, I first started watching this on one of my TVs, and I don't know what it is because the coloring on my TV that I was watching on is totally fine. And then when it would go to the Hulu commercials, the Hulu commercials looked just perfect. But the fucking movie was super dark. I couldn't see anything. I watched half the movie in the fucking dark. And I'm like, I'm gonna see what this looks like on my phone. Then I pulled it up on the Hulu app on my, iPhone OLED screen, and it was super bright. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I came and finished the last half of the movie on my PC, and my monitor, it looked fine too. But on my TVs, it looked like ass, and I have no idea why, because everything else looked fine.
That's weird.
It was weird, but yeah, I did kind of reskim it and rewind the first half a little bit and watch parts like this with the lights on.
What if it was Satan? What if it was Satan himself fucking up your first experience, Hellraiser, because it has hell in the title?
Yeah, I was like, dude, why are they making these movies so fucking dark? And then I realized it was, at first I thought it was just a typical fucking thing they do nowadays. But then I realized, wait a second, now we're at the scene that was the trailer where it shows Pinhead like, who do you pray to? And I'm like, well, in the trailer, I saw this pretty clear. I think I should be able to see this. So
exactly. It was a post-production thing. They were just like, fucking, it's my new vision. It's my new vision. I want to make the movie so dark, you got to turn your lights off to watch it.
I want to say this is kind of cool what they're going for. In a lot of parts of the movies, it looks cheesy, like it looks really CGI. But I kind of like the concept of the room morphing and changing, right? Into their, like, it's kind of cool. But
I liked that they added, like, later on in the hospital, instead of just going into the tunnel whenever the fucking crazy demon world shows up, she tries to leave through the hospital door, and it's just like there's nobody there, and the Cenobites are all around. That's kind of creepy because it's like, as a kid, I remember thinking like, oh, if she would have just tried to leave, would she have been able to get away, or would it be like fucking you're just already in their world by the time you open it up?
And like I said, if anybody was if anybody walked in on her, they don't see that. It's like Freddy Krueger. She's getting killed in a dream. It's what I'm saying. It feels like Freddy Krueger. It's weird, except for that one point in the van where she looks in the rearview mirror and she sees him in the rearview mirror, right? Like she can somehow see him. That whole scene kind of gave me Freddy vs. Jason vibes because you got a chick passed out in the back of a van.
I thought the same thing. Yeah,
she passed out in the van, like, oh god, she's dying. Oh god, what's going on? Yeah,
but there's a couple points in the movie where it's like fucking. The scenes remind me of other set pieces from other fucking movie. What if that is? What if it's just like fucking people are coming to the table like, oh, you remember that scene from fucking Freddy vs. We have a scene like that in our movie. It probably is like that. They probably, you know what we need in our movie? A scene like Freddy vs. Jason where they're in the back of the van. I can see it. I can see it.
I don't know, man. I'm just not interested in anything else except for the pinheads, the Cenobite stuff, and that tells me they failed. Whereas in the original Hellraiser, the Cenobite appearances, at the beginning and at the very end, it's just kind of cherry on top because you love the Uncle Frank arc, you like all that stuff, and Julia killing men and stuff like that. That's what it's about. This is like, I don't give a shit about any of this. Any of this is really stupid.
Exactly. They don't do a good job of making us care about the characters. Fucking that's the thing though. Fucking that's probably the hardest part. We're giving them shit, and it's like fucking that is the hardest part. Like fucking if we could do that easily, like, we literally have you eating out of the palm of our hand.
And I also figured that she's also guilty of this thing where I don't think they're freaking out quite enough. Like, dude, her fucking brother just vanished. And I get it, they're trying their best. But anyway, she does that thing where she figures everything out so easily to me. Right? You know, like, oh, he solved the box, and then they come and like, what? Like, would you be a little bit delusional at first? Like, no way. That's just not. No, can't be. I think any rational person would think something else happened to him before you ultimately go to, oh God, some demons came. Mm-hmm. You know, but whatever. I'll suspend disbelief. I would forgive that convenience of them moving it along and figuring stuff out if the movie was tighter and shorter. But this is 2 hours long. Look, we don't need this. Do we need her crying in the car? Do we need this guy in the shower? Which maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I honestly didn't even see it coming that, oh God, he's working for the rich guy, which I should have, but I don't think they were really dropping any of those hints throughout the rest of the movie. And I'm trying to see if I catch that now.
By the time I noticed, I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I think I just wanted the movie to end.
It's like, this is not entertaining me enough for me to care.
In my opinion, I could have easily given it I think I give it a 5, right? I could easily give it a 6 if they trimmed this fucker down to an hour and a half, hour 40 tops. Like, I wouldn't have a problem giving it a 6 because at least the pacing would have been all right. Because literally, there's so much shit in this I could cut. You could cut this whole damn scene. We've seen them having sex. What is this adding to it? There's no dialogue. I don't know what this is adding. Well, she sees a creepy Cenobite there for a second, but
creepypasta. She's a creepypasta.
And now they kind of like show up.
I noticed while I was watching the movie the first time, and right there that like his he was off sync there. Like, I don't know if the fucking guy doing the editing and syncing up the fucking slate clapping with the fucking footage wasn't paying attention or what. That was weird.
But yeah, anyway, so like now they can appear to her as like apparitions. Before they, you know, the Cenobites, they made a big entrance, right? They're like dong dong, and the lights, but now they can just flash and torment you during your everyday life.
This guy reminds me a lot of fucking Max, a friend who passed away. He was in a band with him. Looks a lot like him. Fucking crazy, blowing my mind.
I think I remember seeing that on some of his social medias. Exactly. About like an RIP to this guy. Well, I don't know, man. I just also, isn't it kind of a weird?
This was interesting. Fucking, she comes to him and tells him like, fucking, this box is shit. I opened this shit. Weird stuff saw happen, and he's like, fucking hell yeah. He believes her. Like that's not common. Usually, it's like they never believe.
And I have a question too. Is it? Even if he's really working for that guy, and he probably
he is. I forgot.
but still though, does he even really know that much, or does he really believe it, or is he just for hire? He's doing a paid job, right?
I feel like if you know that there's some fucking sinister shit with demons and shit, like that's gotta be even worse for your character. That's
Like,
gotta say shit about your character.
Yeah, I feel like there's no way he really believes all this mumbo jumbo, and he's like, yeah, this guy's gonna pay me a lot of money. I'll just fucking walk. What's the harm? But then
He probably
again,
thinks she's just having some weird
no, but that doesn't make
lose.
sense. That doesn't make sense either, because if he took money from this guy to do this, he clearly saw that he's got a big fucking contraption inside of him, twisting his
Innards.
Yeah, innards and shit. So yeah, I guess.
Twisting up them guts.
Which
What was this about? I completely forgot this happened, and I don't even remember. Like I kind of like drifted off and
I
completely missed what they even talk about here.
So I don't understand this either, right? So this is the woman at the very beginning of the movie 6 years earlier, because it jumps 6 years in the future. That's the kind of like the assistant to the guy, the rich guy. She was getting the box. She was like that liaison, and I guess now, why? Oh, did she? Did we already pass the point where she did her little library research? And then she did that thing. Yeah. That's how she discovered the guy.
As soon as I saw this, it was like fucking. They're gonna over-explain shit. They're gonna do that thing where they're like Bagul. It's an ancient demon.
Yeah, it's not the library anymore. It's now just getting on the internet and looking up all the documents. It's the same thing as going to the library and looking up that. But anyway,
when I noticed that was becoming a fucking trend and a problem was whenever I was watching the Amityville remake and they went to the fucking library something to find out, like, oh yeah, fucking the different rooms and the different torture devices.
Margot Kidder goes to the library in the original.
Fuck it, I get that one a pass. It did it before it was okay to do.
She went there and looked at the old articles and found out and saw that Defoe.
In real life, though, how else are you gonna do it in real life? But it's like it gets tired. I get tired of seeing it in movies.
Yeah, it's not clever. But and I would actually give him more respect if they didn't even show us the scene, because we get it. That's how it is in real life. If it just cut to a new scene and they're like, yeah, I looked online and I saw that motherfucker. Like, okay, great, I get it. I believe you. I don't have to see you scrolling the internet and watching the clock change time as if hours are passing by. But no, anyway, so she looks up the information on the guy, and I guess she found her name, and she's going to get information from her. Now, this is something I don't understand in the movie, because she sees that box and she's all freaked out, and she's clearly suicidal. She said she does it on purpose. She grabs the box and does her thing. She's like, I'm going to take this and get rid of it. But when it cuts her, she's like, I did this to myself. I think she means like, hey, I want these guys to kill her, or she wants to kill herself because she said she's dying of emphysema or some kind of cancer. And so, but why? I could think of less scary as shit ways to end it all than calling the Cenobites, which, by the way, I assume the Cenobites don't just kill you. Don't they like fucking take you to fucking hell? I mean,
take you to Flavor Town. They take you to Flavor Town.
They take you to Flavor Town. I don't understand. But if she hates him so much, why would she want to do that? And she says, like, I'm sorry. She's like talking to the Cenobites, like,
it's like the first thing I thought of when I saw that opening scene where she's there. I just realized, like, oh yeah, she was in the beginning. That scene, I completely forgot about it. And then, like, when we were watching it here, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this was in here. Fucking, I got vibes from that movie Martyrs. Like, she's one of the fucking the ladies that are fucking in charge of the Martyrs cult, and they're trying to fucking torture people. Maybe it's one of those things where, like, at the end of that movie, she's like fucking like she wants to go back to the fucking she likes something about the pleasure and the pain subconsciously.
Well, she's doing this to herself. Like I said, I think that's the whole point of them even explaining that she's dying now. Whatever. But I think I just don't know why she would commit suicide like this. Just kill yourself. Just fucking do it any other way than making you shit yourself. But anyway,
any other way would be the coward's way. You might as well fucking use the lament configuration if you're already gonna commit suicide. Why not? Fucking I think fucking whenever if we ever decide fucking like euthanasia is a thing, we're just gonna fucking use that box. I forgot for a second that this is a movie and that shit ain't real.
Then she gets the bizarre, wild, and crazy idea to go to this guy's fucking mansion, which he's totally Rambo-fied and turned into a giant box. And they do that whole thing. Jamie Lee Curtis.
It's a big pussy. It's a big pussy. You can walk inside of it.
He does the same thing as Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween Ends, or what Halloween Kills, or Halloween 20, whatever, Halloween H40, where he's like, it's a prison, it's a cage, it's a lockup. Like,
that guy that shows up, the new Loomis. Oh yeah.
No, but they do. The same thing where it's like this isn't like a storm shelter or like a riot room. It's a fucking cage for you. He does that same shit to the Cenobites and locks them in.
Oh, you're talking about Halloween Kills. I was thinking of the original. I was thinking of the first. See, I
No,
called it the original. I've got
I'm
not
talking
the
about
original Halloween.
the original H4O. Yeah,
The original third Halloween movie called
but no,
Halloween.
he does the same thing where he's made this room and this whole house. I don't know how he figured that out. I don't know how he figured out. I missed that whole plot point where they couldn't like. What is it about the structure and what it's made out of?
I felt a lot like at the end of part 2 when it's like, what's the deal with the Leviathan and that guy? It's like I don't care enough to rewatch the movie and find out. I felt the same way with this. I was like, what was the deal with that guy that fucking owned the house? And like, oh, whatever.
Which, by the way, they want to make it more like the novel. Did the Hellbound Heart novella even acknowledge and have all that lore painted in with like Leviathan and all that shit? I don't think it did. So why are they? And they didn't talk shit about Leviathan in the first movie. That didn't come until part 2. I mean, so they kind of adopted all that.
That was basically, yeah. Fucking Clive Barker said like he didn't want it to be a franchise. They said, "Oh, you gotta make it a franchise." And then like, was there anybody we should like? Clearly, we should have just been listening to him. That's the only time that should have been a movie that was made. Like, if we could go back in time and just never have any of the sequels, like we should probably that's the thing we should probably consider doing if time travel is ever an option.
Yeah, no, exactly. And but speaking of Leviathan and stuff in these movies, whether it's part 2 or this one or whatever, am I to assume that Christianity just doesn't exist in this world? Because is Leviathan God or is he the devil or what is he? But you would think one of these people would go, holy shit, has my whole life been a lie? What is this giant fucking diamond in the sky? What is Leviathan? What the fuck is this? Right? It's like, this is not anything. I think most people in the situation, most of the world is Muslim or Christian, they would shit themselves. But they just kind of all go with it. Oh yeah, Leviathan is God, Leviathan. Like, okay.
What are the odds? What are the odds? Fucking, you just happen to be born to the right one. Fucking, a lot of people are gonna be fucking surprised by that shit. A lot of people. There's a lot of surprise going around that day.
This kind of gives me Resident Evil Mansion vibes.
King. See, this part was like fucking. See, yeah, if they would have done this in the original, fucking Kirsty runs out, or in part 2, whenever she's in the hospital there.
Yeah,
isn't that kind of funny that Hellraiser and Halloween both have part 2s that are predominantly in a fucking hospital, and they're both boring.
Yeah. So, whatever. But I think this whole scene, it gives me like Silent Hill vibes, like I'm playing a video game where the Cenobites are in the dark and they're like.
Fucking, I thought of Silent Hill 2. Fucking, I want a new Silent Hill game so bad. Like a good one that's actually decent, and like I actually want to finish playing all the way through.
Look at these things. These don't look like the class. I'm not saying they look bad, but they look too glossy, and they look like American Horror Story. These don't look like the Cenobites I know.
I want fucking bring back shooting movies on film. I prefer fucking, or just add the gritty look, make it look dirty.
Some people do that. I was watching an interview with the guy that directed Terrifier 2, and because they're promoting that movie now, and he's like, yeah, with the first movie, he's like, I cheated, whatever. I put like the fucking filter on the blah, 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 blah. But it's better
fucking
than nothing.
Cheater. Fucking cheater. Cheater, pumpkin eater. If I ever see that guy, if he's ever within arm's reach of me, he's going to be a pay for some bitch for cheating.
By the way, oh wait, no, now she's doing the research. I guess I missed it. How did she find out how that, like, is there 2 scenes where she's doing the research?
I just said a line from fucking Paradise Lost 2. Or whatever, the crazy guy who everybody thought was like the real killer, the fucking the one kid's dad who was like super nutty in that second documentary. Fucking, he was like, fucking Damien Eccles, you ever come within arm's reach from me? You pay for some bitch.
I don't remember. Was it the first movie? Was it the first one or the second one where they have the guy shooting outside? You ate my boy's testicles.
Exactly. Yeah, that was him. I think.
Not ate my boy's testicles. You shot. But I don't know.
I think by the second movie they had already dropped that because like they found, oh yeah, that was probably done by animals in the woods. Fucking, we were stupid to think they would ever have done that. And then like when did they kind of dropped the whole fucking devil worship thing? Like That was crazy. Well, we're talking about a better movie, better series, documentary.
Hey,
It's not a better series. Hellraiser, as a series, Hellraiser's bad, but the original Hellraiser movie, if that was it, it would be a great series.
there's no franchise that had a bigger dip, a fall from grace. I mean,
Exactly.
Halloween's not far off because when you think about how many Halloween movies are compared to how many of them are okay or good, it's not a lot. In my opinion, there's three really good Halloween. There's three good
You know
Halloween
what?
movies.
You know what I realized? It goes to show you how like fucking we're so full of shit. Like fucking like we thought these movies were so great as kids, and it's like fucking we think of like the Frankenstein sequels and like all those monster movies from the Universal era. They got so hokey and stupid, but it's like fucking those are like there's at least one fucking sequel in every one of my favorite series that I would consider kind of embarrassing. Like fucking Friday the Third or Nightmare on Elm Street fucking 5, fucking Halloween 6, fucking there's Halloween 5. There's so many. They kind of
Freddy's dead. Freddy's 6.
yeah.
I mean,
The shit we like as kids kind of does suck in a way. What if that is what part of becoming an adult fucking is? It's just realizing the shit you liked as a kid it probably sucks too. Probably would if it came out now.
I don't know, but you know what? It's kind of it's a wonder that Sam Raimi was able to somehow keep Evil Dead totally in house. So maybe I don't like everything that happens from Evil Dead, like the remake and shit like that, but it's all coming through him. It's all approved by him and all that stuff. They did Evil Dead 1, 2.
Weren't we getting a new Evil Dead movie this October?
Evil Dead Rise, and then it was in theaters, then it was going to streamers, and then they reneged, and now they said, you know what, we're putting it in theaters again. It's not going to fucking HBO.
Is it not coming this year? Because I haven't heard anything about it in a while.
I don't know. I thought it was coming this Halloween season, but maybe I'm wrong. All I know is they course corrected, and that's the first movie that's done that, I think, where they're like, hey, if any movie deserves to be in theaters, it's this horror movie that probably won't make its money back. That makes no sense to me, but it is what it is. Hopefully,
they're probably hoping it fucking rides the wave from like 18 years ago when the remake came out that everybody doesn't remember because it was a forgettable movie.
And I don't even think it
wasn't really 18 years ago. It was like something.
I don't even think it's coming out like on streamers at the same day like Halloween Ends is, because Halloween Ends is going to be in theaters and streamers Peacock day 1, which that comes out I think this next Friday, right? This next week,
in theaters and streamers
at the same day.
That's the best way to say that. In theaters and streamers this July. They say that at the end. Fucking, I remember one of the trailers I remember the most was like fucking The Sum of All Fears, this TV spot. It literally told you nothing about the movie. It showed fucking Ben Affleck running like, I gotta get the bomb or something like that. It said Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman, The Sum of All Fears. And it's like fucking that was burned in my fucking mind because it was like it tells me nothing. It tells me who's in it. That's all I know. And it like I love that about this TV spot. I love that it's so vague, and then it just tells us what their names are. That's fucking awesome.
I remember this one thriller. I don't remember if it was a Ben Affleck movie or whatever. And the trailer was pretty nothing. And it just showed Kelsey Grammer. He had a part in it. And he just goes, if it bleeds, it bleeds. And then it was the title.
Oh, yeah.
What is this? What is this fucking about? It's that Frasier, if it bleeds, it bleeds movie. And I remember they're like on a local radio station, like the jockeys were making fun of it too. Because it was just like, what the hell is this? Anyway, hey, by the way, speaking of better franchise properties, did you hear that Frasier Frasier's already been greenlit? That's been a while, but I think they started filming. I think it's actually underway and the production's actually started and stuff like that. And
they decided it was time to shit or get off the pot, and then they started shitting.
I think it got announced a year or two ago, like it's happening, but I think now it's actually.
I want to say there were rumors about it right when fucking Paramount Plus started.
It's going to be Peacock. It's an NBC property, so Peacock probably. Yeah, and I think it's the way it should go. It's him starting a whole new life, so it's yet again it's risky because I don't know if it'll fly, but Frasier's in a new town. I'm going to guess he's in Chicago because that's where the series ended, right? He was moving to Chicago to chase after Faye, right? And from what I understand, at first I had read that, they all signed on, Jane Levy and David Hyde Pierce. But if he's in Chicago, then it doesn't make sense. At first, when I read that they all signed on, I'm like, but that means he's going to stay in Seattle. Like, I don't want them to remake that show because it'll never be as good. They need to do something new. It needs to stand on its own. So, but I guess it is confirmed. It's somewhere else. He's got a new life. And I guess all the actors who were signed on they're not like permanent. They might like make appearances, kind of like how the Cheers guys made appearances. What's Lilith kind of was on Frasier in and out and stuff like that. It'll probably in that capacity. So, but I'm open to it. Give me more Frasier, even if Niles isn't there as a regular.
Fucking Niles. I want
Nine
Inch Nails. I want fucking the 9 Inch Nails, fucking Niles led cover band in the show. 9 Inch Nails.
Me personally, I think I would give them a pass if they were like, if they just wrote it in, that Niles somehow followed Frasier to Chicago, because
I wouldn't give a fuck if they all did. I don't give a fuck. I just
and he's married to Daphne. I just don't know, like, if only they didn't end the show a little differently, where they were moving Frasier's show to Chicago and Roz and everybody went with them. Then it's like, oh, okay, well then it would make sense. But
they could do that. Fucking the first episode is they're I'm hearing word they're thinking of getting us. They're thinking of flying you to Chicago, get the band back together. The band's back together.
But they were local. But I could see it being a thing where, hey, we have an opening for a producer, and I know Roz, and maybe she needs a job. You willing to relocate?
We officially tuned out of the movie, and this is about when I tuned out the first time watching it too.
Yeah. Anyway,
because I remember by the time I realized, oh yeah, they're in a house now, and it's like 13 ghosts. I was like, how did we get here? Oh well.
Yeah, but we're not even at the end because they're gonna go back. Like they're gonna leave. And they're gonna come back here. So now, the other random chick who I don't know where she came from. She's like an AA buddy. That other, she's gonna get pricked, and then she's gonna get the shit done to her by the Cenobites in the van.
Get the shit kicked out of her. They're gonna wrestle.
This is where we get our first glimpse of the rich guy. He's gonna be like lurking in the shadows. We're like, ooh, he's still alive, because in her research when she was on Google, it said he disappeared 7 years ago and hasn't been seen. Which that should have been a tip off, right? That he's somewhere. Because how do they get in here?
I take it back. This movie could be done better, and we need to give it to WWF Films, and they need to fucking do it like that, where it's just like fucking the final second, third act is just a fucking wrestling match, and fucking Pithead comes out and fucking does the entrance and shit. The fucking intro music is that shit coming out. Yeah. All the people are fucking like going crazy. I would watch that. That's not a bad idea.
Chatterer's going to the top rope. You got Jim Ross.
I would came.
Yeah.
I would came. Yeah.
Anyway.
This movie's stupid. It's forgettable.
Well, so we have a long way to go still, because like I said, the junkie friend is going to get pricked. They're going to try and get her out of there. Because I guess in this world, they figured out like, oh, we got to get her out of here. Because clearly, for some reason, she understands that they have to be close, like, to take you. And I guess her theory is correct, because even the guy confirms it at the end of the movie when they trap her, and he's like, bring her. She has to be close. Bring her. Like, she's running away. I'm like, what? Like, we're all just kind of going along with this logic. You think they're demons. You think they could just like follow them no matter where they go. But clearly they do, because then we get Freddy versus Jason in the back of the van. We get that whole thing.
I forgot a lot of this shit even happened in the movie.
What's this? More exposition? Reading through a fucking book? God dang it. I guess this is how we fill in the...
It didn't even have to be 2 hours long. Why? Are we returning to the 90s where it's like fucking... we can't give them less than 2 hours long. They'll feel let down.
Is this not the third exposition dump we've had where it's just like reading in silence? I guess the third one.
And I'm still not paying attention. I still don't care.
You can hear the classic music, right? This is the first time I noticed it in the movie, when she's learning about the lore and Leviathan and all that stuff, and it comes out of nowhere. It's like this doesn't feel right.
It feels way more like one of the straight to video Hellraiser sequels than a movie that fucking would be in even though it probably would have been, because fucking Prey could have been in the theater. This could have been. They're just like fucking. We're in such a weird spot with the fucking the streaming and shit.
She finds this giant occult book that has all this information. You would think Leviathan would be much a bigger entity in world ether, right? If there's these books floating around about Leviathan.
If you're gonna be able to like fucking, we're kind of starting from scratch, man. We get to fucking rebuild the universe, fucking Leviathan. Like fucking, we should have got better explanations than kind of feeling like what we got in the second one, where it's just like fucking, I don't know. It's like fucking, what is it? Fucking, It's some random shit. I don't know. I guess they're gonna explain it throughout the series.
If Hulu came to me and they hired me, they're like, "Hey, we want you to write a draft for a Hellraiser reboot," I would turn in 500 pages. I would turn in 200 pages, and the first page would be don't, and the rest will be blank. Like, don't. It's stupid. Can never be done. I don't think Clive Barker could do another one. It's just not the way it works. Ridley Scott couldn't do Lightning twice with Alien. He tried. He came back. It's like, no.
I liked that. I like that. Even though she would have known. Like fucking, as soon as you touch something wet, you just touched something wet.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to like dig your hand in.
You don't have to fucking wait till you see it in the mirror to notice it.
Yeah.
Is it true that if you go to Go ahead.
I want to say I thought this was a turning point. Like ever since from the second she opened the book, we started hearing the Hellraiser theme, and then she saw the brother with like the Uncle Frank skin. I'm like, oh, are we gonna like go to hell now? Or are they gonna do Hellraiser 2 shit, and we're really gonna get into it? And it doesn't. Like you don't really get it anymore. It's just
it literally is just a slasher movie for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's like it feels
so weird.
It's 5 Freddy Kruegers that pop up. They keep popping up to try and pick them off one by one. They got to pick off one of the teenagers one by one. They got to get Glenn.
It felt a lot like
Tina.
Did you ever watch the remake of 13 Ghosts with Matthew Lillard?
Yeah, stuff? I watched it. We had it on DVD. It
felt a lot like that. Like fucking because they have like there's fucking in between some of the rooms there's the glass with the spells written on it that keeps them at bay, and then throughout the movie they accidentally get opened or whatever. Fucking there's a part here where they're kind of doing like a Resident Evil 4 thing where remember the guy with the big claws coming at you got to ring the bell. Fucking he comes through the door and shit. Fucking lowering, getting him to go with the bell. Fucking they're ripping off fucking Resident Evil games and fucking Matthew Lillard beloved films. Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, I just think it's very derivative, and that's the thing that hurts it a lot. Is I could see them pitching it as that, right? Hellraiser. Think a little bit of Hellraiser mixed with Nightmare on Elm Street, and that rad ass 13 Ghosts movie with Marlon Wayans. Okay,
Marlon Wayans. I don't think he was in that movie.
Wait, who was in it?
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard. Wasn't Chris?
No, you're thinking
House
of House on Hill remake.
Fuck.
They remade both of those movies.
Was Marlon Wayans in any of those movies? Those weird like Vincent Price era remakes?
He was in Haunted House, which was like a spoof of it. That's kind of stuff.
Maybe that's where I'm getting confused. I don't know.
I don't think he was ever in one of them. He would have been dank in those though. Fucking both of him and his brother. There's like 18 brothers, but I always just think of fucking Wayne's brothers, fucking Marlon and
yeah. So Matthew Lillard, Shannon Elizabeth. Yeah, this is during her reign of having work. Tony Shalhoub.
Why didn't the other Wayne's brothers show up on Wayne's brothers? Like, why didn't we get fucking a reoccurring guest spot from fucking Blank Man? Fucking Keenan Ivory Wayne shows up to reprise his famous Blank Man role from the classic movie Blank Man. That fucking Marvel's gonna be remaking any day now.
Part of
J5
Phase 89. Blank Man leads the next wave. Running out of ideas.
We need to make a movie where it's basically fucking satirizing the real world, and that is a thing that exists in the movie fucking Marvel's Blank Man.
Well, I would have gave them major props because now that they did now they've split timelines. Like when you watch the new Spider-Man, or no, in the new Doctor Strange, they've split universes. So
look at the fucking cock on that drawn figure. He's not a bad cock.
Yeah, but no, they could have if you watch. Now that they've split dimensions and shit like that, I thought I was going to watch Spider-Man or Doctor Strange, and how cool it would have been if he's in one world and Blank Man was there. Because they literally have broken all the rules, and they could have did that, and I would be like, man, I give you respect.
Fucking, and then Blank Man gets all up in fucking Doctor Strange pussy, starts taming that Strange. He starts taming that Strange.
J5! Yeah, exactly.
And then we get fucking J5 versus Johnny 5. Short Circuit meets Blank Man. They're in the wrestling ring again. And fucking the Cenobites are all up there. Fucking still going at it. Fucking this movie's gonna be great.
I wish they would have went totally batshit with that whole shattered dimension thing, and it could have become like a better Ready Player One. Like if Spider-Man's in another world, like holy shit, and that's when you see like Bruce Campbell stuff. What if he comes across Warwick Davis as the Leprechaun? Like, what? Blowing my mind in the theater. Like Leprechaun exists in this universe. Looking for his gold.
It's really weird how much this feels like a slasher movie and how much it's just like it doesn't work at all. It feels like a slasher movie but doesn't work as a slasher movie.
It's literally nothing like the novella. Like they kept
I can't believe they said
PR,
that.
PR speak. They were like I said,
it's PR exploitation. They are exploiting the fact that Clive Barker is a big name and they get to put his fucking name on it and they get to act like fucking we're making something that he's involved in. They're not. He has nothing to do with this.
It's a paycheck player. He's getting the old Carpenter paycheck. That's all it is. And
exactly.
I think, first of all, this Hellraiser remaking business has been on and off for. I remember they first announced that they were going to do something with Hellraiser in 2012. I remember, so it's been a decade. I remember they first announced it, and originally it was going to be a series again. And first it was going to be a movie, and then Clive Barker was going to direct it. And he even came out and said they offered me a chance to direct it. I said I never wanted to direct again, but then pretty much I realized, well, if I don't do it, they're just going to give it to someone else. They're going to fuck it up, so I might as well. So we agreed. Then that kind of went nowhere for a year. Then it became a series, and this is still a long time ago. And Clive Barker was still attached. Then it went dormant for a long ass time. And then it became the weird fucking Great Value Pinhead movies. Okay, I guess they're just, I don't know what's going on. What happened to the reboot? Because those Great Value movies came out after. So, it was probably one of those things where the proposed reboot of Clive Barker was spinning the wheels. We have to hurry up and make another movie so we can keep this IP. So let's pump these out again.
The only reason the fucking Great Value one came out was because Dimension wanted to keep the rights. The Harvey Weinstein company wanted to keep the rights to fucking Hellraiser, and they had to put out a movie every couple of years.
And
otherwise the rights went back to Clive Barker.
And now we got to a point where we got a really confusing reboot and a really confusing TV miniseries announced at the same damn time. How fucking wild. Which
that shot was kind of reminiscent of the fucking the original fucking crazy guy coming through the fucking through the hallway there, the fucking big guy on the barrel that you can see the wheels of and one of the
shots.
Like
the architect or whatever his name is, yeah.
That movie's so perfect.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I love even the story of that where it's like they literally ran out of money or whatever. It looked like shit, that last scene.
Why don't we need that should be the next big thing, is just making fucking biopics, whatever, of fucking the making of movies. Watch fucking Jack Black play fucking young Kevin Smith in Clerks making of docu or a fucking we get to see someone play Clive Barker in the making of the original Hellraiser.
I think there is a produced documentary that came out a couple years ago, and it's on Shudder about the making of Hellraiser 2, like a new one. There's a featurette, but I don't think I ever watched it. So I think it's Leviathan in the title, right?
I want to say they made 2, and it focused on 1 and 2, like the 2 Clive Barker one. I never watched it, and it was on my to watch list, and I just never did. I forgot.
And I don't know what the deal with Clive Barker, because he technically took a producer role in the second one. I've watched the featurette of part 2 where he's being interviewed about it. So I don't know if it was one of those things where it's like, God, they're really trying to, there's no way he wanted this to become a franchise. I know he didn't. So maybe early on, he's like, well, maybe I'll stick around so you guys don't fuck it up, because it was so fresh in the world. Like, don't fuck up the movie I just put out a couple years ago or whatever. Maybe he act as creative consultant. It might've been a thing like John Carpenter, where he's like, well, fuck, they're going to expand this. I need to write something or sign off on something. And, let's make Laurie the sister, or all right, you really want to take it to hell? Let's figure out some lore. But why?
Fucking, in an alternate reality where fucking, they never made any sequel to the original Hellraiser, and fucking Clive Barker was just known as he made the original Hellraiser, and then wasn't there some shit with his second movie, they made him fuck up Brawlhead Rex or so basically all of his movies after the first one were basically the studio stepped in and wanted to change it, And it's weird because
Well,
like he got to get away with doing whatever he wanted on the first movie, pretty much, and then like fucking
but
because the
he
studios weren't behind the first movie.
he didn't direct Rawhead Rex. It was based on his short story, but he didn't direct it.
Yeah, I thought he directed it.
No, he didn't direct it. It was like some. I thought that sounded weird, so I looked it up. He's directed by George Pavio.
What movie did he direct? Also, did he...
Nightbreed.
Nightbreed. Yeah,
He directed Nightbreed. He directed Lord of Illusions, and is that it? Is that it?
I saw Lord of Illusions once.
Yeah, it's not great. It's kind of like Nightbreed in the sense that it's got something there going for it. It's just the execution is off. And Lord of Illusions is kind of cool, but it never quite hits the marks that you want it to go to. And the ending is a little lackluster. Like it's leaves something to be desired. Like I like the world of Lord of Illusions. I like the character. I like Scott Bakula. I like what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. But he didn't stay in the. He knew when to get out of the game. Like yeah, I'm not directing anymore.
Look at that! Look, fucking the van's getting bigger. That
I think
fucking
Go
the van got bigger. Now she's in the dark tunnel.
I'm waiting for a dank ass worm to come out and fucking ripping a bong, man.
Hell yes. Fucking blow it in her face. And she's like, dude. She's like, dude.
But it'll be a pinhead worm, like instead of the Freddy worm. Like,
this isn't so much like fucking the fact that we both thought it. Fucking what if we're seeing through it? It's just a bunch of fucking fanboys making these movies.
But
fucking
you,
like
but
let's
you know
put
what,
the
though? Freddy vs. Jason has that weird glossy look to it too, like those Ronnie Yu movies, right? Those early movies.
We are now seeing Pinhead for the first time in the film. An hour and 7 minutes in, we see Pinhead for the first time. They waste no time, guys. They waste no time showing the monsters. No, they wasted too much time. This movie's too fucking long.
They gave you a glimpse of her shadow with the pins in the park, like you didn't really see her, but now you're seeing her front. Look, come into focus. Boom. It's like, oh yeah, that definitely looks like a.
I do like the fucking the open wounds. I think that was a good call. I think fucking just making Pinhead bald with pins in it kind of boring now. You might as well fucking give him the open throat wound, like just combine the female Cenobite into Pinhead.
But the female Cenobite who they dubbed Deep Throat, right? That was her name.
Oh yes.
She's in this movie too. It's the Asian girl, I think. Or there's a Deep Throat in here too. So why do they both have
saw
that?
One open.
So that's the remake of her. There's a chatter monster, there's a chatterer, and then the rest of them are new. There's like a weird 2D skin man, which he looks weird, dude. I kind of like him. The guy that's like, two-dimensional.
I wonder why they didn't just go the full thing and have the voice be a little girl, like in the book. Wasn't that a little girl voice? If I remember right.
What, in
like
the
a
book?
Child? I think so, wasn't it?
No, I think they just described it as being a female voice, but not necessarily but kind of androgynous.
I always remember fucking picturing like a child's voice, like the fucking la 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 type shit from Amityville Horror theme song.
This looks stupid. This actually looked better when my TV was fucked up in the dark. But then when I watched it with a better screen, I'm like, oh, it's all CGI and weird.
The fact that we saw an inside shot, a POV of her vocal inside her throat, getting fucking the pin through it is kind of funny. The fact that was included kind of made me think that's funny. But I never thought like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool kill or anything like that. It never really disturbs me. It's probably because I've seen too much of the shit, and I've seen real life fucking people that put needles in their skin. Like shit like that isn't gonna harm me now. You know what I mean? We're too jaded, all the movie fans.
He
but normies,
looks like normies are lickers. Does he not look like one of the lickers from Resident Evil?
Exactly.
I have a question. Okay, here it is. The Freddy's dead. See, look, it's all happening in a dream world. See, They don't fucking see this. Here we go. So we need Kelly Rowland to be making out with her to get her to cough up some blood or water.
Spits out that fucking water out of his decrepit ass mouth. Disgusting though.
The color, everything looks like it. It really does. And so we're about to have a pretty big dialogue when she runs off with the box, and she has a one-on-one with Pinhead, on the bridge or whatever. And she basically is going to tell her, you could bring your brother back, but we need more. You have to feed the box 2 more. he's giving her that moral dilemma. Like, oh God, do I save my brother and sacrifice these
It's
two?
like fucking they're doing it's like kind of a take on the monkey's paw. Like fucking you get you rub the magic lamp, the genie comes out, gives you wishes, but they always fuck you over in the
Yeah,
end.
and that's what the rich guy is going to insinuate, right? Like he wanted this, but then they gave him this. He's like, this is not their ideas of pleasure or whatever. And yeah, she realizes no matter what
Be
I
my
say,
pleasure.
yeah, because at the end of the movie, she's going to wish for nothing. It's kind of like Wishmaster. I wish that guy had never been drinking. Oh!
For some reason, I decided like fucking this October, I'm gonna do a fucking movie marathon, Halloween movies. I want to tackle the Wishmaster series because I got the Blu-ray set of it.
I got it too, and I've never watched it. I bought it too like years ago.
I remember the last time I watched the first Wishmaster, I was like, fucking, I remember that being better when it came out. A lot of the fucking CGI is really badly 90s dated.
It's terminally okay, is what it is. But I remember when you get to like fuck 2 is probably it's a little worse, but it's whatever.
I like 2. 2 is my favorite. It always was.
When he's in prison, right? And the guy fucks himself. Fuck yourself.
That movie's so fun to me. I don't know why.
Well, I guess I have to rewatch it. But when Pinhead goes to college, like the fucking ghoulies and everybody before him, that one's terrible. I did not like that one.
The Wishmaster goes to college, not
What
Pinhead.
did I say? Oh, Pinhead.
Pinhead going to college.
Wishmaster goes to college. Yeah.
That should be the next Hellraiser. Pinhead goes to college. Fucking it just shows him with a fucking book and everything.
No, he's been
recast again. Again.
He's been everywhere else. And the thing is, what they were doing with all those straight to video sequels was, let's take another script that we bought up and it's just in the pile and it has nothing to do with Pinhead. Let's take let's take.
That's kind of what this one feels like. Even though I know it wasn't. This was written as a Hellraiser, but it's just like it could have been one of those movies.
But especially Inferno is a noir movie, a cop movie, not unlike Silent Hill. Some Silent Hill shit going on with it, and then they just shoehorned in that script so they could sell it as a Hellraiser movie. They did the same thing with Hellworld. The story is Lance Henriksen bringing all those fucking people into that fucking sick. It's like a Saw ripoff. I don't know what the fuck. I don't even remember it. And they throw Pinhead in there. But I feel like the one thing they could do where they haven't done yet is a prison movie. Like take a script that's like Oz, like literally have the have the entire Oz prison movie going on, and then you throw Pinhead, throw a box in there, and just have you
might as well. All the inmates are trying to score with the female Cenobite. The female Pinhead, fucking, you could go so many places with it.
Like, what do they do? It's
the open wounds. The open wounds, even.
So they open the box and they enter the cell or the showers where this guy's just pounding away this fresh fish, and they're like, "There's nothing more we can give this man. He's pretty much giving him everything we could right now."
This is kind of like fucking. They mixed up Kronos too. Fucking what's his name? Remember that fucking Kronos? The fucking who directed that again? Fucking Del Toro. He made that movie where the brooch people get it and it cuts them and then some crazy shit starts happening. Fucking that's kind of what this one's like too.
Oh, so I have a question. So she just gave she just gave her an ultimatum like, hey, you can be rid of this and you can get a gift, right? We need 2 more victims for the box, and then you get to choose a gift, and she wants to choose resurrection because she wants her gay brother back. Fantastic. At the expense of what so is she gonna bring her brother back only to tell him, hey, I brought you back, but I killed your boyfriend to get you back? Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, so what do you think about this weird little thing where it's like she stabs Chatterer and that counts? Like, what would that count?
You're asking me like what I think about shit that happened in this movie, like I remember a movie I watched just this morning.
She's going through the dilemma right now where she just heard like, I'm not gonna do it, and she's gonna make the decision to stab the Chatterer Cenobite, and that counts. And the Cenobite's like,
I don't remember any of this happening.
I think the concept is kind of cool where the ground opens up and it stares under there. I think that's really cool on paper. It kind of looks kind of weird and CGI-ish when you're watching it in good quality. But it gets kind of cool. I don't hate that. But this is it. So you think, oh God, she's gonna do it. She's gonna think about it, and then she turns around and she's gonna stab the Chatterer, and that counts as one of the bodies. And I just don't know why they would accept that. because he needs 2 more souls.
Yeah, I remember this reeks of just like the Hollywood kind of like fucking. We need some way for them to defeat the monster. We can't have it fucking.
Look at
like
the
one of
slasher
those
movie. When did the Chatter monster ever fucking come at him like Michael Myers?
Exactly, very weird. That's a child. If you watch the second movie, if you
Yeah.
watch number 2.
Okay, so basically 2 seconds ago, she would have never considered the offer of killing 2 more people. But at this point, it's like, well, gosh, he's pretty much going to die anyway.
Imagine if you were fucking running away from a psycho killer and fucking you're pinned in between a door like that.
Look, so
start
anyway,
doing that,
look, so he gets bitten. Look, this Chatterer bites him. And so at this point, she probably thinks, well, fuck, he's dead anyway. I might as well at least look.
Jack off.
But look, she stabs the Chatterer.
Exactly.
And he like just freezes, like,
and that works. That works.
Isn't that weird? And watch. She's gonna give the symbol, the 2 fingers.
How can
she looks like Glenn Close? By the way, she looks like fucking Glenn Close. Woof woof. 101 Dalmatians.
How can a demon soul? How does a demon have a soul? Or in this movie, do they spell out they're not demons? They're not angels.
Watch.
They're just fucking crazy.
See, look, hold
people.
on. She looks totally CGI'd, right? This looks weird. It looks like it's a.
And then it pulls the Chatterer apart.
Yeah.
Fucking, you can trick hell into fucking itself up.
So, and this becomes her new MO. She's like, well, they go in this house and they devise a plan to trap another one in there for the 5th one. And yeah,
they need to make escape room experiences like this, where like fucking you can go hang out with some buddies and be fucking tormented by crazy skin, ripped off type of creatures and shit. I would go to that. That would be cool. They need to make it like so that like you sign a waiver so that like they can like fucking throw their cum at you and shit. That's the only way I get off these days.
What do you think of this whole Night of the Demons thing where they can't enter the house because of what it's made out of? Remember when they're like talking, coming up with their plan inside?
I thought of that too. Like fucking Night of the Demons, like type of shit.
The invisible like force field. And then they're like, they're gonna be in the house devising their plan. They're like, are they still out there? And he walks out there and they're just standing out there. Yeah, they're still there.
This place's whole house. There's so many crossovers in this movie.
Which
the
is
underwater stream.
Which is kind of creepy. Like the demons are just standing out there waiting for you to.
There's cool images. It seems like you almost as if the people that wrote this were fanboys and they were like, fucking, I remember as a kid, man, I used to have dreams where I look out my window, man, and I see the fucking Chatterer just standing there looking at me like he's gonna fucking fuck with me as I walk into school and shit. It's like that's the kind of shit I would think about as a kid. I like they included shit like that. Fucking because you never saw it when we were actually kids.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So the only thing that's keeping them from entering is the door, because when they invite them in, they open the door, they walk in. It's the door. So what was keeping them from teleporting in there, like they've already shown that they can do, being one place to the other, right? She was fucking, and then Chatterer appeared in the room and was gone. Or why were they walking so damn slow? Run! They could have made it in there. Stupid.
We should be watching the first movie right now. This is almost over, ain't it?
Yeah, this is the whole last part. We get to go back to the weird mansion.
It's not almost over. It's 41 minutes left.
No, how? This is the end.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah,
that fucked my mind up.
Dude, fucking trim this thing. This is the end. We are in the last act of the movie. The last act of the movie is like 45. It's been going on. We're 45 minutes long. By the way, another thing they could have trimmed out, when the movie ends, it doesn't end. You get to see them take the rich guy into like demon heaven and turn him into a Cenobite. Why are we seeing this? It goes on for yet another 5 extra minutes. Why was that not cut? Look, we get the point when they reward him, but they're, once again, it's monkey's paw, and you kind of get the idea what's going to happen to him.
When I'm running for president on the communist platform, I'm going to have we're going to stop cutting the cocks, stop circumcision. We're going to start fucking uncut the cock, cut the films. The films are getting too long. Fucking the cogs are fine. Leave them alone.
How would you feel if in Hellraiser 2 at the end of the movie, right, when the doctor is shooting his spears at all the Cenobites and then it's, cutting away and showing them in their true form, right? How would you felt when he shot that spear at Chatterer and he was on that totem thing, right? And it's spinning, and when it spins around, you see him as the kid. What if it spun around and he was a Down syndrome kid in leather bondage?
Syndrome of a Down.
What if he literally looked like the kid from Quantum Leap, Jimmy?
I would have to masturbate ferociously.
Like, it would be like, what did this? It's already kind of makes you think, like, what did this kid do to earn a title? It doesn't make sense.
I can't believe this movie's still this long.
But no, think about it. Look at what this guy, this doctor in this movie, had to go through to become a Cenobite. What did this little kid really do? Did he seek out? How did this little kid? That's why 2's stupid, to be honest with you. How did this little kid seek out this box, learn about all this lore? Because in that one, it is desire. How did he have the MO to seek this out and become a Cenobite? And we know he wasn't like some kid from like the year 1400 because he had a fucking Jonathan Taylor Thomas 90s fucking bowl cut, whatever. Like,
he was like my buddy who was jacking off dogs, fucking his sister in the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah. So that's all it takes to be a Cenobite, is to be a deviant.
You know what I realized today? Fucking, I might have pressured him into jacking off the dog. I might have, because I remember saying, like, it'd be funny, and I knew he would do it because he's fucking crazy. I knew it'd be funny if you jacked off the dog until the dog came, and I said it just like that. I was saying shit wrong on purpose back then. Even fucking, I might have pressured him into doing that because I was older than him.
Oh, it's funny how you omitted this information, and you were the older one.
I didn't even think about it until I was listening to re-listening to the stream.
So you pressured him. So you're telling me, like, when he was doing it, was he all like, nothing's really happening? You're like, no,
yeah, he was just like,
going.
He was just like, I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I was just like, no. At some point, I was just like, yeah, I don't think it is either. Like, but I could have been saying that. I could have been saying, yeah, keep going.
You realize that's a TikTok. I love that. So I love when you said that. Like, I realized that I was the one that pressured him into jerking off that dog.
But can you blame me? He would have done anything.
I think Zach's family needs to take into consideration if at the end of his days comes to chisel that on his tombstone, I may have pressured him into jerking off that dog.
Exactly.
It'd be awesome, man.
I definitely didn't pressure him into fucking his sister. Don't even think that. Don't nobody be thinking.
I may or may not have told him how hot it would be if he nailed his sister. And if I just
it's so weird that I realized while I was listening to an episode also that like it's so weird that I laugh at that, and it is because I get so fucking nervous thinking about it. I get so fucking nervous thinking about the fact that happened. And the creepiness, fucking the pain. What if the sister goes through torment because of that?
I have a question. So
I would get me off this train of thought too.
I have to say real quick though about this character. So in this universe, they have to solve the configuration like 7 times. Was it something ridiculous? And has to get so many victims.
It's like fucking. It's like the Ring.
5.
They got that from the Ring.
Maybe it's 5, and they indicate that he did the 5 missing people, right? And it leads up to the last one, which was 6 years prior because he hasn't been seen in 6 years, and it was that like male prostitute you saw at the beginning. That was the 6th one, and then he disappeared. So the Cenobites granted him court, right? And they met with him, and he got to choose his reward. And he says he chose like what is it, like the pleasure, the fucking all the weird shit. The he's like Frank, right? Frank was numb. He had been through all the deviant shit. He had fucked everything that walked into every kind of weird point.
Become so numb.
Anyway, he needed that next kink. He's like, nothing could get him off anymore. So he's like, I got to seek out the ultimate pleasure. This is what that was the prize he chose. And that's what they gave him. They shoved this thing in his fucking stomach, and it was constantly tormenting him, twisting his innards. But here's my question. Is that the way the Cenobites work? Like they do this and they just let you live on Earth. Here's your prize. Why wouldn't they? Don't they usually kill people? Isn't that what they did to Frank? His ultimate pleasure was killing him, right? And torturing him. These people didn't kill him.
Crawling in my skin.
And by the way, he tries.
I'm still thinking about that shit.
He tries to make it sound like he can really he tries to justify that he's still alive by like, oh yeah, they did it in such a way to where it constantly keeps me alive and the nerves and whatever. Like, no, you still would have been infected. Your entire body is exposed and you're a giant open wound. You would be infected. Even if like that didn't kill you, something else would get to you and kill you.
He gets cum infection.
And by the way, he's like, I just want this out of me. Kill yourself. What? What? It's clearly not that torturous. I mean,
in a video game.
Yeah, no, in a video game. I mean, like, I'm saying, why would you do? Yeah, don't cut that out as a soundbite. That's just like, no. Why would he go 6 years with that torturous device? Literally, anybody else would have just ended it. You know what I mean? But he loves life that much.
He loves the pain. He knew when the pain stopped, it would have felt even more exquisite. The orgasm, once that pain stopped, would have fucking paid off even more exquisitely.
There's just a lot of questions like, why didn't they do this? Why doesn't he do this? Why don't they do that? And just like that was the first thing I saw is like, this guy is in excruciating pain and he's devising this whole scheme to get this woman here so he can get he's having her do his bidding to call the Cenobites.
It literally is like the plot of fucking 13 Ghosts remake.
And
that's the same reason he wanted them to come to the house.
Just swallow a bunch of pills, bro. Like he really wants to be alive. I mean, I guess that's great.
I don't know why. I don't know what fucking where does he get off loving life as if it's done any of us any good?
That's what that's even what Pinhead that says at the end. You would choose life because she chose nothing.
Chad. I was just that's a line from Every Time I Die song. And it's done any of us any good. Fucking and then you said fucking they're stealing from Every Time I Die now. They're stealing ideas. They are fanboys.
We need to explore the E-band idea again, and you can name the band like Every Time I Came. That'd be
Every Time I Came.
Just use the logo, just rip it off the font.
Every Time I Came. Ironically enough, the fucking the Came Gang logo is the old English, like the way they
like Every Time I Die.
They do have the eye like that. I didn't even think about it though.
There you go.
That Cenobites kind of fucking. It looks kind of like the Jeepers Creepers demon at the end of the first movie.
Yeah, it kind of looks like some Guillermo del Toro stuff. Like I said, it kind of looks cool, but
he's okay. I'd let him fuck me with that fucking squid tentacle.
And this one is the Silent Hill. That one walks like a Silent Hill nurse.
Yes, very much so. And they've got bandages around their face.
See, why don't they run? Because they're gonna literally let them trap this one.
The slasher killer never runs. So it always shows Jason walking.
Why is this plan going so perfectly? How do they know one was gonna be so far ahead of the others, and they were gonna just be able to trap one? Like, what if they had like a lot? What if they all just kind of grouped in?
This reminds me so much of that part from Resident Evil 4, where you first get to the fucking castle and the fucking the blind guys in there.
This literally looks like a Silent Hill monster, though, doesn't it? She doesn't even look like a Cenobite. But watch, she's gonna turn into a slasher. Watch, she's literally gonna like chase her like a mummy.
Fucking that thing on her face looks like the fucking the alien thing that comes out and hugs your face. Almost.
Yeah. Watch, she's literally gonna throw her hands and flail them in the air. I'm like, whoa, and chase her around the house. It's really silly. This doesn't feel like a Cenobite thing.
You think like to hurt the Cenobites the worst, all you have to do is throw like vinegar on their exposed muscles.
Whoa! Literally chasing it. Now they can run, Zach. They weren't running before. Why weren't they running before?
Because they had to scare us. They had to scare us whenever they finally do run.
They don't have scary demon powers, right? This fucking Cenobite can get trapped in a door like a fucking human and a dog.
Exactly. We can't just have the victims have to have some hope of survival. Otherwise, we don't care, right? Well, they have to fucking. Well, we don't care anyway. We don't care anyway.
Can they really not get out of that? Hey, this is kind of cool how he starts coming out of his skin, right? She's like, I'm gonna come out of my fucking skin, like, wow.
Oh yeah. It's like a fucking. That's some sexy shit. That's some. If a chick did that while we were fucking, I'd instantly cummed. You think I was thinking about that though? You think the way to hurt a Cenobite the most is to just throw vinegar or salt on their exposed fucking muscles?
And it was at this moment he knew he fucked up because, let him in, stab the Cenobite. I got to look for it. And he's going to get fucking killed by the fucking sellout, right?
Fucking killed it.
Yeah.
He stole the box. It did.
Watch. He's gonna get it.
Get it. We should do an episode where we talk like that the whole time.
Yeah, he's got the box. I don't know. The guy on the floor has the box and he's gonna stab the gay guy
Fucking, he's just like, fucking, this thing looks like a cock and I'm gonna stab you with it because you like cocks anyway.
That's right. The rich guy came out of nowhere with it. My bad.
You like that cock? I like the cock too.
Okay, so this is where. Yeah. Now we're
stabbed. He's stabbed in the back. The symbolism going on. We're literally just watching, narrating the movie at this point. If we were gonna rank the Hellraiser movies, where does this one fit? Probably somewhere in the middle.
I've already said it's better than the last four. It's better than Deader. It's better than Hellworld. The Hellworld's bad, dude. The fucking Lance Handers, the fucking internet cyberspace. That's bad. It's like Lawnmower Man 2 Pinhead. It's bad.
One thing I liked about that one with the great value was how like they tried to like do like the super edgy like fucking angle where like the kids like, oh yeah, I'm like a fucking school shooter type of edge we're laying on you. We're filming ourselves raping people and fucking the edge is. I remember that being a thing that was kind of making me laugh when I watched it.
I would put it above the last two Doug Bradley movies and the last two Great Value movies. That's it. I wouldn't even put this above Inferno, the one with Craig Sheffer, because that one's actually a decent movie, even though it's still tacked on. It's like, this is not a Pinhead movie, but there's actually a decent movie in there. But yeah, that's nothing to write home about. Like, that's so fucking easy to be better than those movies. I don't know where to put it.
Fucking, it's somewhere in the middle. It's somewhere. I don't even care enough to fucking fine detail this shit.
Yeah,
like I'm fucking cat. I
realize...
owned the first Hellraiser. That's the only one worth owning. It's the only one worth owning.
It doesn't mean shit to be in the middle in this franchise when there's only one great movie. I mean, like the middle wise might as well be the end. But like I said, I think 2, as much as I hate it for what it did to the first one, on its own, it's fine. It's probably the least offensive sequel. 3 has some weird.
The great thing about 2 is just like fucking, it's gorier than the first one. Fucking, there's more skinless shit. It was unrated. That was like the fucking the box art said unrated, and the back of it showed her with the female Cenobite with her fucking throat opened up and the fucking doctor mask. It was like, this looks so fucking gnarly, and it's like fucking the movie's boring as fuck though.
But that scene's not in the movie where they're in the surgeon's outfits.
Yeah.
Which is that scene available? I can't remember. Why'd they take that out?
I don't know.
How weird is that? That's some Freddy Krueger shit. Like, why would the Cenobites have surgeons outfits? But
it was creepy looking. It was creepy.
The third one is not a good movie, but there's something about it that I enjoy. Like, I like the campiness of it. I like the year it came out. I just love it.
The most memorable scene about the third one is the part where that guy's having sex with the chick. The way he's fucking her, and he pulls his hand. He puts his hands out like he's the guy from Creed when he comes.
And he's got the cigarette in his mouth, like. No,
what the fuck?
I think he's great. I can't remember what's his name. JD, JP. I can't remember what his fucking name is, but he's great. I love that. He reminds me of like my brother, Dr. Sleaze.
He's like bootleg Uncle Frank. He's the sleaze. He's a very sleaze fiend.
Yeah, so I like him as a character, and also the acting is so weird, hokey, and overdubbed for no reason in places. It's just so cringe that I like it.
It's almost the old guy is like fucking The Room-esque acting.
And I like the guy, the cameraman, like, ready for your close up, Joey. It's fucking bad.
Isn't he the guy they overdubbed his voice the movie?
Yeah, that's the overdub guy. But there's.
What if they only did that because they wanted to have some consistency with the first movie? Or Uncle Frank had an overdub?
We got to hire a French guy to play this dude for no reason.
Just uses a different voice anyway.
But it's stupid how they introduce the whole Spencer character. We go more into the lore of who Pinhead used to be. That's really dumb. The main character and her daddy issues. That's fucking stupid. But I don't know. I love the club that he owns, and I like how Armored Saint, who I love, is playing Hanging Judge for my favorite album of theirs, Symbol of Salvation. It just feels very early 90s to me, so there's something about it. And also, he goes to pawn shops and he buys that fucking pillar just like they buy the leprechaun statue. Like that leprechaun statue goes to a pawn shop.
That was the thing I hated about part 3. All of a sudden, like fucking, what? Why is he in a pillar? But the box is still there.
No, but the pillar was technically at the end of the second one, right? The pillar.
Yeah. I would have just forgot about that.
How
just
did
fucking move on.
How did he get the pillar? How did it leave hell? I don't know.
And every time you see him, it's just obvious Doug Bradley sticking his head through a fake hole.
Through a thing. But when I was a kid, though, you couldn't really notice that so much on standard definition Cinemax. You didn't really. It's like it shows on Blu-ray for sure. But dude, I actually thought that was creepy back in the day, where it's like boom. I have vivid images of seeing like the pinhead face in the middle of the pillar, and it was kind of creepy. Now it's kind of stupid.
At this point in the movie, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What's this guy revealing? He's literally just the guy from fucking the remake of 13 Ghosts. Oh, well.
He's the guy that paid that one guy to get to know that girl and to get her to open the box so she could get roped into this and bring him 5 souls so she could summon the Cenobites. Because he obviously couldn't for some reason. I don't know.
Open the box.
Why couldn't
take the souls?
Why couldn't he get... But why
it's all metaphor.
But why couldn't he get the box? Can he not do it again? He's like, no, you've already had a prize. You can't do it again. Like, why didn't he just get his own box and open it and get 5 people? I don't. Is he just in too much pain?
Why hasn't anybody fucked one of these Cenobites yet?
This one's creepy. It doesn't really look like a Cenobite, but just this weird 2D man with like the skin. His face is a skin. It's a flab of skin.
Oh yeah.
Looks like
what if he's an uncircumcised cock man?
I don't know why the Asian one doesn't scare me. She doesn't look that scary.
I don't expect to think they look scary anymore. Just look cool. Just look cool. Look interesting.
She kind of looks like a bootleg chick from the Green Room, right?
We need some. Chick. Yeah, we need. I want to redo a redo of the fucking Hellraiser series. We're gonna get Clive Barker at least to write it or fucking produce it, whatever. And we're gonna have the Cenobites, H.R. Geiger-esque Cenobites. We're gonna remodel them like that. The weird. I like. That's kind of what I thought when I watched the I kind of like the weird things in the weird. Because people do that now, where they put fucking metal shit underneath their skin and it bulges a little weird, but like it works visually. I think do H.R. Geiger style though.
So this one you actually get to summon Leviathan. I still don't quite understand his house and why it's designed. Look, yeah, it's a cage, and he does this Laurie Strode thing.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right. He's trying to play like he's like, I'll let you go. I'll let you go if you basically let me talk to your god or whatever, right? Because I to take this out of me. He's like making demands. I'll let you go.
Exactly. That dude's face, flap of skin, reminded me of Frank's face when he opens the box and it shows Pinhead putting it back together like a puzzle on the floor.
I think one of the coolest shots in the history of all cinema is when Frank just barely comes to. He gets enough of a body and they just show him like holding himself up on the floor and he's just like a torso and he's like, oh! And it cuts away. You know that shot?
Oh yes.
It looks fucking rad. And it's just funny because the movie looks amazing, except for obviously you can see the guy pushing the architect or whatever. And then obviously they ran out of money and they did that heart where it's like in a fucking Ziploc bag that they just fill with like spaghetti sauce.
I love all the effects, all the limitations they work.
But you could tell they ran out of money. Like, God, we need, and they literally had like a Ziploc bag that they put spaghetti sauce in, and it's like pumping. Like that's supposed to be the heart. But no, it's awesome.
Great film. You think touching that feels like when you were a kid and you had athlete's feet and you'd put your finger in between your toes, and it would feel all like wet and weird?
No,
that's gross. That's gross to think about. Fucking that fungus shit.
Did you ever treat that stuff, or did you just let it infect?
I didn't know how to.
Did you just let it infect the nails, dude?
It never got that bad. Where it was under.
When a fungus infects the toenail, man, it's almost impossible to get rid of that shit. You're stuck with it for life, man. My dad had yellow cheese toes. His fucking toes were like permanently yellow, and he had big old crusty fungus nails. Disgusting motherfucker.
I'm glad. I noticed that my fucking ankle's been doing this weird thing recently, where it's like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll feel like it's it's really like locked up or something, and I'll like move my foot a certain way, and I'll feel a pop. It's weird.
Mhm. You're just
Weird.
getting
What the
older,
fuck?
man. I deal with that shit all the time now. I mean, you're in your 30s now. It's like I fucking always have weird joint issues. It sucks.
I was thinking like fucking maybe I could masturbate onto my ankle and it would solve the problem.
Yeah, it's like peeing on a stingray
On
or a
athlete's feet.
jellyfish, peeing on a
Well,
jellyfish sperm or athlete's
that
feet just to come on your
that's
foot.
that's how fucking my cousin used to say. You ever get athlete's feet? You got to pee on them. That's how you get rid of it.
What if
And
you could put? What if you convince? What if you tried to sell some snake oil and you convince paraplegics that hey, if you let me jerk off on your feet, you'll walk again.
you could
And
do it. I could trust anybody.
and
to
you're
do
like,
it.
just give it a day, bro, and you ghost them, and they turn it out
Exactly.
like, wow,
You got to bring the
simple.
fine print. It didn't say it was. It didn't say fucking. It would heal within a month or so. You might have to wait years for that shit to kick off.
This is almost a movie in itself. Like this last 45 minutes, it's ridiculous. It is 13 Ghosts. It's a whole thing.
I thought the movie ended when we were just watching the extra bonus features now.
Yeah, but it's one of those flicks where like when they entered that house, like, all right, we're at the end. Oh, 45 more minutes. What the fuck?
They should have got to the house way earlier. If they
They
even got there at all, I would have just cut out the house completely, to be honest.
they should have cut the first like 30 minutes and turned it into fucking 10 right away. It's just
Fucking, it's weird because it's like there has to be a fine balance between the amount we're seeing of the Cenobites and then the people, the human characters. We have to be able to like the human characters, and they have to be interesting. And these guys just aren't interesting at all.
yeah, but
I I forget who they are while they're on screen.
look at her body. It looks weird. It doesn't even look like flesh though. It looks all glossy. It looks like she's wearing a weird rubber suit. It doesn't look I don't even see flesh there. It looks
We're seeing that because we know how movies are made. Kids might not be thinking that. The magic isn't gone for them, I don't think. It kind of does. It looks like they took fucking turkey meat, just threw it at a. We're gonna take your skin off for this effect to work, and then we're gonna throw turkey meat on it.
look, she's obviously gonna kill. She's like, hey, like trade him. Trade my boyfriend, my brother's boyfriend's who's hanging from chains right now, and take the guy that sold us out. And that's
That'd be
what she's
funny.
gonna do.
That'd be funny if we were sitting here talking about how the effect looks so fake. It doesn't even look like skin, and then we found out that's how they did. They just skinned a person and then threw some turkey meat on their body for the effect.
It's like
Shit you buy from Walmart in the packages.
it looks like fucking Damien from Bride of Chucky, that picture. Like, oh, he's disgusting. Like, look, you really did a number on him. Like, ah. Well, she's like, I recognize the nail polish or whatever. He looks like he threw
Sure.
fried chicken skin like Jim Carrey and Cable Guy. The Silence of the Lambs.
What's funny is I would have never noticed because I watched that movie. I didn't realize that was fake. What if she did fall for it?
Well, she did at first until she saw the nails.
Oh yeah. See, that's another thing that came out the fucking new Chucky movie, Chucky show.
Yeah, and that's out now. Yeah,
You gotta wait until the whole show's out. I can't watch that one show, one episode.
yeah, because I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. It was fine, and it was the last couple of episodes that I enjoyed the most out of that whole series.
I'm fine with a Chucky show being about as good as like Cobra Kai. That's good enough for me for a Chucky show. That's better
It
than
does
I
kind
could
of
have
feel
thought.
like Chucky Cobra Kai though, with all the
It
kids
does.
and the tween energy. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's Degrassi Chucky,
Chucky, DeGrucky.
and I just really thought it was funny how we have Chucky, and I get it, Don Mancini, I get it, it makes sense. But Chucky himself is like defending trans rights, where he's like defending
how you
like
know.
It's really funny.
That's how
I
you
got
know
a kid.
Chucky's a big Chad. He gets all he gets all that they them pussy.
That stuff with his daughter Fiona playing a young Brad Dourif and getting it on like with Tiff is really gives you a weird boner. It's like, oh, this is like lesbian sex, but it's not because she's playing a guy. I don't know what to think. What's going on here? But that whole thing with her doing the voice, hey Tiff, it's kind of stupid. It kind of reminds me like she's doing like a God, what's his fucking Marx Brothers impression? Hey. Doesn't
It
sound
does.
convincing at all.
So it's almost like they think it's funny and cute, but like nobody else does that's watching the show. But it's like you got to keep doing the funny voice that makes us all laugh behind the scenes.
And it sounds like a girl doing an impression, a bad impression. That's all it is.
Or is it genius and we're just too cynical? It could be. I would have been fine if they would have. Now that I don't know if I made that up or if that really was what it was in the original book.
You can't take back. No, you talked the dog. You talked him into jerking off the dog. You trying to take that back?
Oh no, I was gonna say I think it would have worked great if they got a kid to do the voice because kid voices are creepy. Like I was thinking with the theme song for the Amityville Horror.
This whole thing is warped, right? It's if you hear it, it's like a girl's voice with a guy's voice mixed. Or
that's an effective effect. I thought.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they did like octave lowerings and shit like that. But
yeah, no, right there with it peeling off the skin, like kind of like ooh. It made me think of like remember that story we heard where the chick riding the bike on the fucking behind the scenes of the Resident Evil movie got fucking ripped, like her skin came off. Degloved, they said. Like just the thought of that is disgusting. For that shitty movie too.
Didn't she like lose a whole limb? Didn't he get amputated?
I forgot what ended up. I'm pretty sure she survived, but yeah, like her whole skin was like taken off, at least her arm or something.
I think she sued. Wasn't there like a whole issue with like insurance and lack thereof, or some fucking ball drop there?
See, if only they would have been making a Hellraiser movie, they could have just filmed that and just had it really in the movie, and they could have come out.
Look, this is the end. This is fine if this is kind of where we end, but I can't believe we end and then we actually go, because you kind of forget about him. It's like, okay, he went there. We know that's his demise. Okay, let's wrap up these characters and stuff.
It's like a Stephen King book. It doesn't know when to fucking end this movie. He could have just flew off into the sunset like Icarus flying towards the sun. Yeah.
Look, it's literally the last two survivors of Night of the Demons.
That shot, it kind of is just like Night of the Demons, but like she's flying up through the sky, or the guy, the Leviathan guy, and fucking I thought of that part from the episode of Hey Arnold where the crazy pigeon guy is flying. He has his pigeons fly him off the roof, and he's like, always fly towards the sun, Arnold. And I thought of that as he's fucking always fly towards the sun, Arnold, as it was showing him fly up there.
They were just casually walking away while the pinheads are standing there.
Exactly.
These pinheads like to bask in a lot of light in this movie. A lot of lit scenes.
We gotta be able to see the scarring. Fucking I do. There's a part of me that just when I see an open wound, I just want to fuck it. I just want to put my dick on it.
She also kind of reminds me of Gozer.
Is that a fetish you have as well, by the way?
No. But she has that kind of choose your destructor Gozer thing going on with her. This is weird. Like,
at this point, it's like I thought about this. Watching this made me think, is that how it was always? Like, when Frank comes back and gets Julia to kill for her, is that really Frank, or is it just like a demon version of Frank? Because I always assumed it was just Frank, because Frank was just a fucking crazy person from the beginning.
I think it's Frank. I think it's 100% Frank. Frank is kind of like, this is going to give you a headache, but in Mortal Kombat, Kano, he's like the Kano, where Kano is just a human being, but he somehow is a slimy cockroach. He's like the worst of the worst, and he somehow survives.
Yeah, I'm noticing now that Cenobite is a little overdone. It's like fucking less is more.
Yeah, and she's super glossy. She's got that weird CGI filter over everything. They all do. It just looks weird. Like, look at it. That you can't tell me that's all makeup.
Yeah, I can never tell, like, fucking if I'm seeing real life or if like my glasses are just foggy. So it's really hard for me to be able, because I always kind of feel like there's like a weird dreamy quality. I don't wash my glasses nearly enough because I can't afford contact lenses. I need to get to better eye insurance. It's 2022.
I feel like I gotta torture myself and watch Judgment finally, because I never did watch Judgment.
I kind of like how they redesigned the box itself.
A little bit. Kind of cool. I mean, that's woohoo, great. They have a cool box design that saves it.
It's kind of memorable. I mean, it's not memorable, but
the window's like a box. she chooses nothing. Can we end the movie now? That now, like how they're just gone. Great. That's kind of how I want to be right now. Gone, done.
And then fucking you don't rub the middle like
Look,
fucking
look,
in the
sun
box.
up. Night of the Demons. The sun is now up. They
It's
survived the
just like
night.
it.
They survived the
like it.
night. You got a minority guy and a girl. I mean,
Fucking-
I feel like it could have ended right there. Them walking away, right? That could have been the ending. But no, we got this shit. And then we're gonna have like the stuff where he's getting turned into a Cenobite, which is definitely gratuitous.
we see his penis and it's beautiful.
She's definitely no Kirsty, man. She's not really nice to look at. I'm not trying to like talk shit on somebody, but
Fucking nobody in this movie is memorable. Fucking everybody. I forgot who they were already.
see, and then it ends with this awkward ass scene. This feels like the end of Ocarina of Time, where you beat the game and then you saw the ending, but then all of a sudden it goes to white, and then you see Ganondorf. You see Ganondorf. What?
I thought we were gonna fade in and see the Limp Bizkit floating around. Like, did we drown in the milk? Did we drown in the milk?
No, I like my reference better. You beat the game, and then all of a sudden you see this white screen, and then it shows Ganondorf's face up close, spinning around. Curse you, Link! Right?
Look at his. He's got a nub dick. His dick looks like a nub.
Yeah, it's a little nub. He looks like Hugh Jackman in The Fountain. Right?
Do you get to keep your cock and balls when you go to hell? Because if we believe dogma, you lose your cock and balls when you become an angel.
I always thought there was some kind of method to what they do to them in their Cenobite form, right? The CD Cenobite, it makes sense. He was a disc jockey. All right,
his skin is peeling off like a banana.
But why? Why does he? I don't know.
He's becoming a new Cenobite, I think.
I know he is, duh. But like, why are they just putting a bunch of cock rings in him, like those little shaft?
Because he gotta look cool. He doesn't look cool enough. Gotta show some muscle. So to show some muscle, we can just see all of his teeth there. He's pretty cool looking, I think.
And watch, he's gonna turn to a demon. You can see his eyes change.
Exactly. He's got big calm eyes. That's how they should have ended it.
So
and it's revealed.
Once he turns to a big cum eyes there, then is he like his brain like flicked a switch where he's like, I like being a Cenobite now. Is he gonna be one of the Cenobites that hang around with Pinhead, or is he like some special one? Because he's like on a cross, dude. He's like nailed to this thing.
This is like the ultimate enlightenment meme, basically. Like we see all those memes where it shows the different stages of enlightenment, and it shows the head
like a
silhouette, and it gets like the light.
Behemoth album cover or a Deicide album cover. Well, that movie was a thing. David Bruckner, he did such classics as VHS.
Yeah. David Bruckner.
And David Goyer, who wrote such classics as Death Warrant with Van Damme, and pretty much every shitty DC movie.
Van Damsel.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was a thing. I don't even know if like I want to watch all these credits. Do we have to watch all the credits?
Is there anything after the credits?
There might be. Maybe there is. It wouldn't surprise me that they still didn't know when to end it. Fast forward the credits.
It just cuts to fucking Clive Barker. It cuts to Clive Barker himself going like, "Fucking,
gotcha, groovy."
He just shrugs and it ends.
Yeah, like,
and then we find out like, oh yeah, they decided like they found a loophole where as long as they tie me up and make me be in the movie, they get to keep the rights for another 8,000 years or something.
All right, well that was the thing. Like I said, I've actually never seen Judgment. I just skipped it. I was so tired of the series by the time that one came out.
I watched it.
And
I don't remember anything about it.
Fucking, I have to watch Judgment soon. I can't make myself sit through that now after that, because last 2 nights I've watched the Monsters and this. And I think the Monsters was actually less offensive. But
you're just rolling in the fucking Kino. You are just rolling in the fucking Kino. Damn,
it's totally lame. Yeah, I've got to cleanse my palate with something good tonight. I might watch that copy of what was it? What Women's Prison Massacre that I got.
Yes.
All right,
we need a Women in Prison Hellraiser sequel.
Yeah, they take the prison thing out of it, make it a woman's prison movie. And it's a script about it's a woman in prison movie. It's got all the same women in prison beats. You got
Somebody smuggles in one of the heroin dealers. They're trying to hide heroin in the fucking box.
and
They
it's
fucking get it.
and the warden's in on it. He's running a fucking weird pimping ring and a drug ring, and then you got to have like the butch chick who's like the tough chick in prison against the new fish, but then they got to come together at the end to fight the greater evil, the warden and Pinhead.
This sounds like an amazing film.
Yeah,
amazing film.
Well, anyway, that's all we got. I'm very happy that one's done, to be honest with you. I feel like I got to do something of value with my Saturday night now and watch something good. If you guys are our first timers to the YouTube channel, if that's where you're watching us, please subscribe. Please like the video. Please leave a comment. Help us with the algos. You can support us on Patreon for $2 a month even. You can get early access to all our shows. You can watch these as we stream them live, right? You can what else? And if you don't want to give us $2 a month in perpetuity, we now have the capabilities to support individual videos, right? It's that super thanks bullshit. That's there too. If you just like this video and you hate everything else we did, show us some love if you feel like you want to. Otherwise, we appreciate you just watching for free. That's no big deal either. Also, if you'd like to support us on your chest by wearing a shirt, we have a Teespring. You could buy a t-shirt from the likes of Revival House, Behind the Mask, Zach and Mac and Zach, whatever you guys are, the Kane Gang, Cinema Enema. There's a whole bunch of bullshit we can't unload, right? The warehouse is full. And just watch all our shows. Like I said, if you guys are new, you got a lot of archives to go through, man. Check out all our shows. Been around for a long time. A lot of good content. And please also, if you aren't already listening on podcast free feeds, we are there as well. Go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, right? Google Play. Leave us good feedback there. It all helps. Is there anything you want to promote, Zach? Any Kane Gang stuff coming out soon?
Fucking, we are gearing up to do the AFI discography fucking tier list. Fucking whenever Mac's ready to do that. Whenever Mac is ready, fucking, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, you guys have started doing those tier lists. I had the idea. I was gonna start doing those too, but I don't know. If I have time to do more
fucking
streams.
And apparently Blink-182, fucking Thomas DeLonge, he might be back in the band. Wouldn't that be great if that happened? And then the fucking people, they start searching up all that shit and they come across our fucking Blink-182 tier list. Fucking people, fucking check that out. Big Chad.
That's very cool. All right, guys. We'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, Poppets. Bye.
Bye-bye, puppets. Zach Pete in a solo cut band. Couldn't miss Cameron's love and Josh's Scott failed and Riverman's babe. Bye-bye, puppets. Sounds good. Like this country used to.